What's good? What's good? What is going on? Thank you for being here. Please hit the like button. If you uh if you would, I would greatly appreciate that. Uh, I just want to remind you that we're not too removed from this, whether you know it or not, whether you want to believe it or not. Uh, th- this is not far off in our history. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna play this for you guys. The links are in my description box. We are in order right now. Let me remove this whore we have as a president. Hey, no salt. Good to see you, Daniel Berry. It is good to see you, and Lee Brand New. Thank you guys for being here. Let me share uh, this. Uh, People think that people tend to forget sometimes. Let's have a unsettling reminder. This is inside a slave's breeding house.
Of a slave breeding house. You're inside of a slave breeding house. I promise you when I tell you this, there are spirits in this place, and you can feel them real heavy. There's a heavy presence of another presence that is not me, and you can clearly feel it. Look at this. They could be as young as 13 years old to lay on this bed, and slaves would sleep with them and produce children. Overseers would sleep with them. The master himself could be sleeping with them. This is a house of horror. This is a house of horror. Everything is original. Look at the stove. Look at the chimney. Look how old it is. You can feel the presence of other entity in here. I've been on enough plantations to know when there's something else in these houses, and clearly something's in here. There's an unrest in here. Rape happened here. Incest happened here. Molestation happened here. Right here in this slave house. They were breeding them. A 13-year-old could literally, or 12, could literally be laying right here producing children, up to 30 of them at one time. Look at that. You're at the Magnolian plantation where they were breeding slaves. I'm Pastor Wilkins of Chasing Our History. Be blessed. All right. Pastor Wilkins of Chasing Our History. You are inside of a slave breeding house.
Okay, I just wanted to share that with you. Hey, Detach Myself, it is good to see you. I just wanted to remind you that while the uneducated, the uninformed are talking about things that they don't know, I really appreciate you guys who come over here and not listen to all of this hyperbole that is suddenly running around the beef sector because people are wondering what's going on, but are too ignorant to go to the sources to find out. So they talk among themselves in their ignorant whispers. I appreciate everyone who comes over here and participate in the actual factual news. So now I'm gonna let you understand that this immigration thing is not going to stop at immigrants. This taking of cities that have minority black residents, minority black representatives, minority black mayors, black governors. Who do you think that they are aiming at now? I continue to tell you every day that they still want 1,000 new detention centers built in the United States, for profit detention centers. So they want the rich to have private detention centers. You know what a private detention center denounced? That means that they don't have to follow any federal rules or guidelines. That's what that denotes. They don't have to do anything that federal prisons do. So that's one thing. So the simple fact that you have so many black people caught up in talking about things that don't affect them and won't affect how they live their lives, but they ignore uh, the things that are absolutely going to affect them and how they live their lives. Hey, T. Danielle, yes, Karen Bass, yes, a black city, Los Angeles, one of the largest black cities. So I was watching on the news. The arrests are getting more violent too, of course, and the detention. Now, the thing about it is, the reason why I stayed on what was going on to another race of people, because I know our race of people are not exempt. And the things that they did to the other race of people, many of them who voted them in and were treated in deplorable conditions. I knew what was coming down the pipe. I have been warning what is coming down the pipe since before the election, when I start telling everyone about Project 2025. And I'm going to continue, even though Project 2025 is basically complete. The only thing that we are waiting on is for 45, 47 to put us under, what is it? Uh, what is it? What is it? What am under lockdown, under, what is it? What am I trying to think of? You guys know what I'm trying to think of. Where he puts the martial law. That's what I always have a problem of thinking of that martial law. That is the only thing that uh, really, and with the ease of which he's doing this, the ease of which he's doing it, and it is as if he is the only elected official, because we have all these hundreds of senators, congressmen, and nobody is doing a thing. Now, I showed you yesterday the DA from Philadelphia. Thank God, said that if he comes to Philadelphia, that is another one. That is another city that he touted on bringing the National Guards to. That he will arrest anyone who does anything illegal. So Um, I hope more mayors, governors, uh, DAs decide to hold their feet to the fire. We know federally, hey, Miss Douglas, yes, Miss Douglas, we know federally, they're not going to do anything. We know federally they are allowing them to wear these masks. Why are they allowing them to wear these masks? Because they can hide them. This is the administration that pardoned over 1,500 January 6th rioters, pardon them, people who pled guilty. Why do you think they're allowing them to wear these masks? Because they don't want you to know what affiliations some of these people have to white supremacy. That is why. Okay, now uh, they you Negroes have gotten too uppity. Um, I think I shared that bastard, was it what Nick Nick Fuentes said that black people are too uppity. So you see all the overt racism that you see, and people reporting on it as, oh well, it was no, it was blatant racism. I showed you the blatant racism on yesterday with the old woman who a old white woman told her to move her seat, and then all of the YWCA demanded, well, move your seat. Why are you being so difficult? Why don't you fight a different fight? The black woman got there. And she sat in an available seat. The white woman got there, and she told the black woman to move. That is her seat. And the instructor agreed. She's been sitting here for years. Then they call the administrator. No one has an assigned seat, so could you please move your chair over? As if the black woman was doing something that he said everybody is expected to come here, get in a seat, and as long as there are 25 people in here, we start the class. So can you please move your seat? Why are you making it difficult? Okay. Let me show you this. They don't like it when you make them feel less than just by being the best that you can be.
Firstly, how about that for a reaction? Look at that face.
Now, if you missed that, go to my live on yesterday. It is the last. It is the last clip that I shared with you on yesterday. So I'll go over there. And speaking of them hating when black people do their best and outshine them naturally, and they get angry. Let's check.
Firstly, how about that for a reaction? Look at that face. Oh, wow.
She just told her for the line, you have to say sorry because she's losing. And the black woman, her ball teetered on the net, and she's telling the black woman that she has to say sorry. And she said, no, I don't, because she does not. She's telling her, you have to say you're sorry. Okay, let's continue.
It's going big now. There we go. Saying I have no education and no class. I don't really take that personally because I know that it's so far from the truth and so far from anything. And again, if I allow what other people have to say about me affect me in that way, then they win. So ultimately, no, I stood up for myself, and I kept in my mind in that moment how I wanted to portray myself and how I wanted to show up. And if my son were to see this interaction, how would he view it? And I think he would be proud of the way that I handled the situation. I'm very strong. I'm very proud as a Black woman being out here representing myself and representing us in our culture. And I make sure that I do everything that I can to be the best representation possible every time that I step on the court and even off the court. So I can't speak on how she felt about it. That's something that you're going to have to ask her. I didn't take it in that way. But also, that has been a stigma in our community of, being non-educated and all the things when it's the furthest thing from the truth. And the thing that I'm the most proud of is that I let my racket talk. Because ultimately, I'm the one here sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to still be here and speak to you guys. And that's what's the most important. She's packed up and she's gone. I'm here. And that's the only thing that matters. So whether it had racial undertones or not, that's something that she could speak on. And no, there's never been any history. I mean, I don't know how she feels about me, but there's no, beef on my side. She told me that I have no education, no class, and to see what happens if we play each other outside of the U.S. And I said, I'm excited, bring it. It is what it is, but I stand strong and I stand firm in who I am. And, I don't back down from confrontation because, and again, it's sports, right? Like, this is a part of sport. You can feel any type of way that you want to, But again, I just don't think that you should push your expectations and how you feel about something on other people and try to make someone else feel bad about that because you feel like they should conduct themselves in a certain type of way.
We see the incident between Townsend and
Now, this isn't the one who was arguing with her. This is her friend. This is the Karen making excuses. You have to understand. Now, she had no harsh words for her. I just gave her the room to express herself. She was just expressing herself. And it was so hard for her to just simply say what she did was inappropriate. And I'm gonna have to follow up to see if she has gotten banned any games. I'm sure she has not. I'm sure she hasn't. But let's hear what her friend had to say.
Ostapenko.
I actually spoke to Alona after the match, but during our conversation, I didn't know what happened. And well, I have to say that she's nice. You know, she just sometimes can lose control, and
She's nice, but she can sometimes lose control. And so, therefore, when she lost a game and uh, uh, presented herself as a sore loser and decided to lose control of the winner, that's okay because she's nice to people who, especially non black people who beat her in tennis. She's nice. Let's continue.
she has some things in life to face and some struggles. So I was just
Okay, so she singularly has some things to face in life and struggle. It's only her. She's the only one on earth that have some things to struggle with in life. Okay, let's continue.
trying to help her to, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, just not like face it uh, more in mature way, but I was just trying to help her to like settle down and kind of like just was someone she could speak to and just let it go. You know, I think she just sometimes can just lose control over her emotions, which pretty tough. And I really hope that one day she will figure it herself and she will handle it much better.
Do you think there's something else going on off court that affected?
I think so, yeah. You know, like sometimes when you struggle with some things in life, it's of course can reflect your tennis career, and on court you're more unstable and you can lose control and you just don't understand what's going on in the moment. And then for sure, I'm pretty sure, like looking back, she's not happy with her behavior.
I just want to ask about your, I don't know if you saw what happened with your mixed doubles partner today, if your thoughts on that moment and that whole incident.
Yeah, I didn't completely hear or understand everything that happened. Yeah, I guess some shocking comments towards her. Not the smartest thing to say to an American in New York City, but she handled her business. Always gonna back Taylor. You know, I don't know exactly what happened during the match, but just happy for her that she's, you know, making a run and in the singles draw we didn't do what we wanted to do in the mix. So she's definitely making up for it. And like she said after the match, she spoke with her racket, and yeah, just happy to see her winning.
Explain just why it's shocking to you to have someone say that.
No, I mean, what was the comment? She's not educated.
Yeah, no education, no class.
Yeah, kind of speaks for itself, right? Crazy statement.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hold on. That's all I really wanted to show of that. The full interview. Did you guys see that? Excuses. Excuses. That was her partner in. Well, you heard who that the guy was. So let's move on. Always excuses. And speaking of excuses, you guys may remember my story about the Israeli man who was caught in a sting in Las Vegas, and he talked to he is a cybersecurity specialist in Israel. And Israel has this get out of pedo charges free, where any Jewish person living anywhere in the world can go to Israel, and they can stay in, they get automatic citizenship in Israel. So this cybersecurity person who actually works, I think I forgot exactly how he does cybersecurity for Israel. And we're going to talk about this cybersecurity and the people who are in charge of cybersecurity in a few. He got caught up in a sting where a cop was pretending to be an underage girl, and they caught him up in the sting along with, I believe it was either 7 or 11 other men. One of them was a preacher or a pastor or something, and to he was able to call to talk to the FBI and DHS, Homeland Security. And then something strange happened. He all of a sudden got one of the most high profile attorneys to take on his case. And the prosecutor in Las Vegas had a conversation with his lawyer, and then the next thing you know, what happened? He was on a flight to Israel. Now his court case was on yesterday. He was supposed to show up for court on yesterday. Do you think he showed up for court? So, do you hear a lot of this? Have you heard this story in the mainstream media? Have you heard this story? So why is it that our government at high levels always seem to be protecting these type of people? So I want to share this with you just in case you want the update. I played several videos. I played a video from 5 years ago when this had there was an expose and how Israel let these type of people escape charges for diddling underage minors. Not just girls, boys as well. Okay, so we know this has been ongoing. So let's see the update of what happened when his trial date when it came around on yesterday.
To give everybody an update on Tom Alexandrovich's case. Can we go ahead and put this up there, please, on the screen? Media was allowed in the courtroom yesterday where some extraordinary stuff happened. So basically, as I'd said before, yesterday, Alexandrovich had a court appearance, basically to respond about the criminal complaint that was just recently filed against him regarding this case where he effectively got caught in an FBI joint operation with the local police department, where they posed as a 15-year-old girl online, and which he showed up basically to meet with her with the intent to have sex with her. Basically admitted it. He waived his Miranda rights during questioning, as you can all see in the arrest reports, which I exclusively reported over here. Well, since then, after he fled the country some 20 days ago, after being caught up in this sting, he has hired literally the most powerful lawyer in the state of Nevada. And there was a showdown between that lawyer and the judge. So yesterday, his lawyer, David Chesnoff, quote, told the court that on Wednesday, he told his client not to attend the meeting. Quote, he was instructed by me that he did not have to be there. The judge very quickly shuts down David Chesnoff, says that suspects released on bond have to, quote, make every court appearance. I am looking at his
Now, this is his attorney. He's so full of himself. A celebrity attorney he said, I told him he didn't have to show up. Let's continue.
Bond documents
He's telling the judge, I told him he didn't have to show up.
indicate court appearance that he was ordered to appear was today. So your oral request without anything before the court to waive his appearance today is hereby denied. What eventually came after some back and forth with the judge is that Alexandrovich will be due for a
No, he didn't tell him that he didn't have to show up. He already knew he didn't have to show up. So he goes to court and tries to get a waiver for him to not to appear when he's in Israel when you knew he wasn't going to appear anyway. But let's continue. That's what he did.
virtual appearance next week in court. Apparently that's the compromise. But remember, all of this is about the showdown between whether he is ever going to return to the United States. Because one of the things that Chesnoff actually said is that the state attorney and him had, quote, come to some sort of an agreement. That's what he alluded to from the reporting here in the story. And the judge was like, I don't care what kind of agreement you have going on with the state. I'm the judge overseeing this case. This guy has got to appear in my courtroom. So
do you let your mind wander if the state attorney came to any agreement with any of the other men who were caught up in that sting? No, I'm sure they did not.
that's the only update that we have so far. But already we're seeing the signs of like some sort, basically a corrupt bargain, okay? Most powerful lawyer in the state of Nevada, who donated to the state's attorney. This is a verifiable fact. You can go and look. It was actually a scandal in Vegas back in 2021. They called it pay to play justice, where they had somebody like this.
Pay to play justice. Now he paid and now he's playing. He's playing in the face of the courts. That is why I have all of these whores on TV who will do anything. These whores who are getting rich because somebody paid them to play. Why do you think that I have this why do you think that this is my thumbnail? Because we have a lot of whores in government who are getting rich because who was sitting front row at the inauguration? Do you ever ask yourself why? Did you hear the story that I did about how Jeff Bezos, Amazon, had a secret deal under the title of another corporation worth $36 billion to build a data center in Arizona? And in the secret, a part of the secret deal was that the water rates for the people who lived in that part of Arizona would be compounded with the water use. They would then adjust the water usage with all of the water that these database use up. So that was part of the deal. So in other words, the people in that community were about to face staggering water bills, because they were going to be the ones who were paying for the water for a data center that uses huge amounts of electricity and water. So we're talking about whores today. We are talking about these rich whores. And the guy who made the deal with this corporation said that he doesn't feel that the public should be able to vote on everything. Obviously, you don't. That's why you guys did it in the dark. That's why it was a backroom deal. That's why Elon Musk deal for his data center that is poisoning the air in Memphis, Tennessee, also did his NDA deal, and nobody knew about it until it was thrust upon the people. Including all the toxins that it is spewing in the people's air. Let's continue.
High-powered lawyer who, by the way, went and, quote, volunteered at a hospital in Israel after October 7th, got an award for being a friend to the Jewish people, a high, like by his own account in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, which is owned by Miriam Adelson, the most powerful pro-Israel donor in the United States, who's written pro-Israel.
Miriam Adelson, who also contributed heavily to 45's 47 re-election. Let's continue.
Pieces about this lawyer. So let's start with that. He's hired by this guy, Tom Alexandrovich. By the way, I'd love to know who's paying his bills. And I have sent those questions over to the Chestnut's office, and they have not returned any of my calls or my request for comment, just so people understand. But in the courtroom, it's clear that the judge wants Alexandrovich to appear. He has now agreed to appear virtually. But the question around this is about the conditions of release, because previously the cope from the pro-Alexandrovich side was he was bailed out, which you're allowed to after 2020 bail reform laws in Nevada, without ever appearing before a judge. That's why there was the open question, why was he allowed to leave? It's like, because you can just post bail and get out of there. Well, what's now clear is with the filing of the criminal complaint and now of having to appear before the judge, this is when the type of restrictions that could typically be imposed on an individual for potentially leaving the country, that is when. But the complicating factor is he's not here in the United States of America, he's in Israel. And so it very much opens the question as to whether the state's attorney and the lawyer have reached some sort of agreement and plea, which will very likely, in my opinion, lead to probation. The reason why I'm saying that is that an interview that the state attorney actually gave to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, he floated that, yes, well, technically it's punishable by 1 to 10 years in prison. Probation is also an option. And he said something like, well, I don't really know anything about extradition. I presume that we have extradition treaties. So I dug into that. The extradition treaty that we have with Israel is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Prior to 1999, they just did not extradite anybody. What happened is that a 17-year-old murdered another kid, actually nearby from here in Maryland. His father was Israeli. They flew to Israel. They fled to Israel. This guy butchered this other person. The Israelis, because they wouldn't extradite him, came up with some novel solution after crazy diplomatic pressure from the Clinton administration, where they would try him for the crime and he would serve out his sentence there. But after that, they were like, look, this is done. We have to have something done and dusted. In the interim period, there's been a number of cases where high-profile pedophiles here in the United States flee to Israel, and because they're Jewish, they can claim the right of return and Israeli citizenship, and they can fight extradition in Israeli court. Crystal, the most recent example I found of a prolific pedophile charged here in America was it took 11 years to go through the Israeli justice system before he was returned to the United States to face trial. 11 years. Even that sham extradition treaty that we have with Israel basically gives defendants in Israel the right to drag this out in Israeli court for as long as humanly possible. And that's in the case of somebody who was an American citizen. In this case, we have somebody who is an Israeli government official. So it is a major question where without massive diplomatic pressure from the United States, I don't think we will ever see this guy again on U.S.
Okay, this link is in my description box since it's all about the children. Girl, question everything. Okay, they're real pedos. Now, I just wanted to share the update with you since I shared the initial story. Now, let's rewind a little bit and be reminded of all of the laws and all of the constitutional norms that 4547 has broken. Now, Governor Pritzker of Illinois is another governor who basically said that be careful what you do. And we don't want you in Illinois. And if you do come to Illinois, be very careful of what you do, because we are going to go after you. I guess that's the only thing that he can say. I don't know. He's already expressed unequivocally that he does not want the National Guard. He does not need the National Guard. So basically, he seems to be taking the route of the DA of Philadelphia, who's saying that they will be on state charges. So see, because when you're on state charges, there is no such thing as these pardons. So he has warned them. But I want to go through some of the things that we have been through. And see, we have been through a lot, and it seems like people are so hung up on the next crazy thing that is done in this government and forget of all the other things. This is a pile on a Project 2025 shit to take us back to those birthing cabins.
So Gavin Newsom has been leading the way and showing Democrats how to fight. Newsom has been effectively just trolling the Trump regime day in and day out by copying Trump's, his voice, his polls to be the 2028 Democratic nominee. But others are catching on in their own way. So as I told you guys the other day, it's not like they could all do the literally like copy Trump's flow, because that'd be a little ridiculous. Like one person doing it on the Democratic side. I get it and it makes sense and I like it. But others need to find their own way to ruthlessly and relentlessly fight. That's the key. The key is, are you going to ruthlessly and relentlessly fight? And so Pritzker is now doing that in his own way. So I do think this is tied to Newsom's fighting, getting all the eyeballs on him, surging in popularity. And so he comes out and he says the following in a press conference. This is interesting.
Finally, to the Trump administration officials who are complicit in this scheme, to the public servants who have forsaken their oath to the Constitution to serve the petty whims of an arrogant little man, to any federal official who would come to Chicago and try to incite my people into violence as a pretext for something darker and more dangerous, we are watching and we are taking names. This country has survived darker periods than the one that we're going through right now, and eventually the pendulum will swing back, maybe even next year. Donald Trump has already shown himself to have little regard for the many acolytes that he has encouraged to commit crimes on his behalf. You can delay justice for a time, but history shows you cannot prevent it from finding you eventually. If you hurt my people, nothing will stop me, not time or political circumstance, from making sure that you face justice under our constitutional rule of law. As Dr. King once said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Humbly, I would add, it doesn't bend on its own. History tells us we often have to apply needed to make sure that the arc gets where it needs to go. This is one of those times.
So do you understand what he's saying there? In not so subtle terms, he's saying, when we get back in power, we are going to prosecute you and you're going to prison. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. This is one of the things that I've pointed out, and many others have pointed out, to be fair. This has to be a litmus test for Democrats running in 2028. They need to be on the record. They need to be clear that all of the Trump regime thugs who committed inexcusable and obvious crimes, they got to be put behind bars. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So look, just for argument's sake here, let's give one example. Elon Musk. What did Elon Musk do? Well, he illegally and unconstitutionally cut USAID funding, which in turn will lead to, and I'm not exaggerating here, millions of deaths. When you say no more malaria medication, no more HIV medication, no more of the stuff that saves lives, guess what? Lives aren't saved. People end up dying. That's millions of deaths based off that alone. Don't even get me started on the pediatric cancer research cuts and the cuts to NOAA and the NWS, which led to poor warnings, which led to people dying as a result of extreme weather, cutting Meals on Wheels and the CFPB and the nuclear safety officials and FEMA, firing 83,000 veterans, firing 250,000 public workers overall.
CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the bureau that got billions back from corporations who who snuck in little sneaky payments that you didn't have to pay into your accounts, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was the one who got the money back. Closed down. Who who, who is here to protect the regular Americans? And while the bankers can and big tech people can slide in payments and take money from you that you don't owe them, and there's nobody to get it back. Now they get it back from one person, and what they'll get it back from one person, but do they stop? Did they stop at that one person? No. They reviewed all the accounts to see how many other people they were doing it to, and they got it back for all of the citizens. Closed down by Elon Musk. Let's continue. I'm going to talk about FEMA as well. News came out about FEMA. You will be shocked.
Food safety inspectors, air traffic controllers, scientific research being cut, medical research being cut. So that's one person. Every single penny that was cut by Doge and Elon, every penny was illegal. It was illegal. Because the way it works is Congress passes something, it's signed by the president, that's law, and that's the end of it.
Now, what have you seen Congress passing? What have you seen them going back to Congress to the president, which they have the capacity to go back and say, hey, I don't think we need this money in the budget now. Do you want to take it out? Can we reduce this amount? No, they let somebody who was not in the government come in and take away what Congress has allotted. That's illegal. And people act act like, oh, Elon's gone on to the next thing. Oh, Elon failed, but he cost a lot of people their jobs. He cost a lot of people their security. He cost a lot of people ways to fight these oligarchs who are coming in and putting their foot on our neck and while stealing from us. Oh, he's gone now. We're on to the next. This is the stuff that Elon Musk did. The illegal stuff never went back to Congress to get a dime of this money back that they said that they saved the American people. Okay, let's continue. I just want to refresh your minds.
Instead, Elon gets in there, world's richest man, by the way, hacks it on the back end and cuts whatever he wants. Okay, well, that's all illegal and you should go to prison for all of that. That's one example. Should I bring up Kristi Noem? Should I bring up Stephen Miller, the Nazi who's actually running our immigration policy? The guy who calls a meeting with the ICE officers and says, what are you doing going after gangs? What are you doing going after human traffickers? No. I want you to go to the fucking Home Depot. I want you to go after the day laborers. That's who I want you. They literally disband the agency that was going after the human traffickers. They disband it. And at the same
Okay. Now, do they talk about that much on any news that you watch? That they disbanded the agency in ICE that goes after human traffickers? No. Why would they tell you that? The same reason why they bought El Chapo's 17 of El Chapo's relatives to the United States, but the Department of Justice refused to take any questions on that. Okay. Now, he's going to touch on that, and he's going to touch on that story that I gave you yesterday about Bukele and 4547 appearing to have some backroom deal to take all of those prisoners to El Salvador for the United States giving taking away the charges on MS-13 high-level MS-13 gang leaders and allowing them to go back to El Salvador. And I also told you there were allegations that Bukele, wasn't so against the gangs after all. He was just, he had certain people that he, wanted to keep around. He had certain gang members that he didn't even have problems with. So how is it that our Justice Department, where they're talking about our gangs and they're telling our people that MS-13 is so bad? Now, Robert Garcia has written I hope my mic is on. Robert Garcia has written a letter to a Pam Bimbo, Christine Nome, and I forget, and uh, 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 Marco Rubio, asking questions about this deal. If you didn't catch my channel yesterday, while motherfuckers sitting up here having conversation about some shit that they have no information on, this is what's really going on in your government. This is what's going on in your government.
Time, by the way, Trump is allowing El Chapo's family into the country. He's cutting deals with MS-13 so that they don't squeal on the fucking president of El Salvador, Bukele, for the deals he cut with that gang. So Trump is making deals with the worst of the worst, the drug cartels, the rapists, the criminals. At the same time, they're rounding up innocent.
At the same time, who was that who said that yesterday? At the same time, they're doing this with MS-13s, who they are trying to tell the American people is the boogeyman. What did Stephen Miller say in that piece that I ran you at the start of my show? I ran you Stephen Miller saying that even the corner street drug dealer has a connection to the cartels if they're selling drugs. So he now they want to classify cartel drug dealers as terrorists. They want to classify them as terrorists. But what he also said, even the corner street drug dealer has connection to cartels. So what does that tell you? He wants to charge people who are not getting rich off of drug selling. Ain't what it used to be. Ain't a whole lot of people ain't getting rich off of drug. God damn it, the motherfucker on the street corner, that motherfucker living in day stay hotels around this time. But he wants you to believe that you should consider that they have drugs to sell, that they are connected to a cartel, and the cartels are terrorists. Let that sink in. See, some of you people can't put shit together. Not you people in here, of course. Some people can't put shit together because they're too busy trying to figure out if an old bitch, an old horse is pregnant by somebody she never met. And so enthralled in these bullshit conversations. And you don't understand what they're about to put on the people in the United States. Why do you think they're making a 1,000 detainee centers? I ask again.
People, rounding up people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, rounding up fucking day laborers, rounding up people from hair salons and 7-Elevens. This is who these people are. Every single move that they do. No due process, no habeas corpus. That's wildly illegal. Wildly. Stephen Miller should be in fucking prison. Donald Trump should be in fucking prison for all of his crimes. Don't even get me started on his. Like, should we just talk about the massive crypto scam he ran on his own supporters 2 days before he got in office? The $3.4 billion he made since he's been in office? This is all totally illegal against the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because he knows I'm just getting away with it. Invading American cities, using the U.S. military against our own citizens, illegally banning flag burning, which is First Amendment protected speech. All this stuff's illegal. What Pritzker is saying here is justice is going to catch up eventually, bitch. It's going to catch up, and there's nothing you can do when it catches up. And this is the sort of swagger that we need. This is the sort of riz, as the kids say, that we need from Democrats who are potentially going to be in power. Clearly, he wants to run in 2028. Clearly, Newsom wants to run in 2028.
Okay, so the link is in my description box. Go over there and check out a secular talk. That is just one of the topics that he went in on. We definitely need to fight back. We're too relaxed in this country. Exactly. Because so many of us are too uninformed, willingly stupid. Willingly stupid. We have a whole computer at our disposal, even on our phones. But the best motherfuckers over here can do is dox, thinking they are doing their big one. If it's a true dox, if it's a live dox, the best thing that they can do is try to dig into your personal life. But they don't understand what their own personal life is going to go through. Some protest, some don't. We need to unite. Okay, so that first wave of protests. I'm glad that people got out there. There is. I'm glad that those people got out there. I protested with my vote, but I kept my eye on what they were doing to those people, which was wrong, and I talked about it. I have people dropping in here, talking dumb shit to me like I care about what they're saying. I can have my own opinion based upon the facts. I'm not going to close my eyes to the facts. Get off that shit. Everybody's too high. Exactly. They are easing their feelings and emotions by getting high. So many by getting drunk. That is going to help them out. How is that going to help them out? Fuck around and get named a terrorist because you got a roach in your car. How's that gonna help you out? How is that helping you out now? Motherfuckers on here begging night and day for miscellaneous bullshit, and then talking about what weed they smoke. How is that helping you now? Why do you think they keep putting legalizing marijuana on ballots all across this country? Because they want to keep you dummies high and dumb. Why do you think they continue to do this? Hey, Leonard. And what was that? I think it was Oregon wanted to legalize all drugs. Crystal meth, all drugs. Don't quote me. I do think it was Oregon. Zombies can't think. They definitely can't think. But now these zombies are having a political conversation. God bless you. God bless you. You're just gonna be running around spreading more misinformation and not seeing what's really going on. Now the HUD is saying that they're going to put a 2-year cap on people who use HUD. So you have people running around here talking about this holding list that they have been on for HUD, and they have been waiting on HUD for this many years, that many years, and then they finally get on HUD, and they think that they have won the jackpot. So you waited on HUD up to 5 years, some of you. And you were able to do what to take care of yourself in that time. So you didn't whatever you did, you sold pussy, whatever the fuck you did to put a roof over your head, you did it. Okay, so you are not willing to really do, if you were uncomfortable, if it was so bad before you had HUD, what did you do to get yourself out of that situation? Oh, you waited on HUD because you knew as long as you had children that you would be able to find a place to stay. Not so much now. Not so much now. And how many of them have been on HUDs for years and still have no way out? Have not gone to skill, have not taken a trade, and still will be homeless and helpless when they start making these HUD cuts. Now, I don't know if it's going to be, hey, you've been on HUD for 7 years, we're cutting it. I don't know how the cuts are going to come, but the cuts are in this big, beautiful bill that we have a HUD recipient on who is bragging about HUD and bragging about the increase that New York said that they are going to put on her food stamps. I thought she wasn't on food stamps. I thought her daughter was on food stamps. But nonetheless, however it goes, you have people, I'm really talking about a delusional person, so I don't even know why I'm even going there with a fool. But this is the shit that people are talking about in this sector, and nobody is countering them with any facts. Because why? A lot of these motherfuckers have no facts. A lot of these motherfuckers have mental illness running around in this sector. A lot of these motherfuckers don't even care about themselves to try to take care of themselves. So what the fuck anybody else is supposed to care about them for? They don't care about themselves. I heard a motherfucker talking about going to Target. I know it's a boycott on Target, but fuck it, I go to Target anyway. Yeah, and you are the same type of motherfucker who be telling Master what the old Negro songs that were guiding people out of slavery, what the songs meant. That's the same type of motherfucker. We're not surprised that we got these type of motherfuckers. However, the motherfuckers who stood on business, what happened? The CEO from Target is stepping down because of all the money that he lost the company cutting out DEI, and people stood on business with Target except these motherfucking yard niggas who still want to brag about going to Target at the same time they begging you for something to eat. They bragging about going to Target while begging you. Okay. MJ does not motivate you, just stuck. Who is MJ? You must be on your square at all times. Who is MJ, though? Oh, Mary Jane. Okay. I got it now. MJ. I was like, wait a minute. Who is MJ? I had to scroll up and realize that I had gone far off the square, and I was talking about something totally different. Negroes are just something. Okay. Now, let's talk about the economy. Can we talk about the economy for a little while and what 45, 47 is doing it to this economy? I got you, Liz. Okay. So let me share this with you. Oh, I thought I was sharing. Oh, I am sharing it. Okay, let me share this with you.
We blocked the highest end microchip semiconductors.
Yeah.
In the Biden administration, we blocked the highest end microchip semiconductors from going to Chinese entities that are tied to the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, basically so that our most advanced technologies can't be used against us and our allies. President Trump basically called in the CEO of NVIDIA, talked to him for a while, and decided, no, I'm just going to go ahead and ship these chips to China. It's one of the few areas where you've actually seen a few Republicans come out and say, what the hell is going on here? That makes no sense. Why would we give China this capability that they can use for national security purposes against us? And then third,
what do you think is going on here?
I think this is just kind of classic. Trump listens to the last person who's in the room, and he let somebody who had a financial interest in selling these chips to China convince him to do it. And he doesn't.
He also folded on the TikTok thing, though. And there are a lot of Chinese investors in his crypto. I don't know. There's a lot there that is eyebrow raising.
Well, the TikTok thing, I do think is kind of straight up. He thinks that it helped him politically. And I think he has friends who have a financial interest in it.
Right.
You put that together. And he's just blatantly violating the law. There is a law on the books that says TikTok has to be divested, and President Trump is simply ignoring that law. I think that one is very much about personal and political gain. But, it's interesting. Not long ago, I was talking to somebody who had just been in China and seen senior Chinese officials. And they were saying, it's very interesting to watch President Trump because we've had a long-term strategy to basically try to weaken and divide America's alliances, to set America's allies and America against each other.
And look what happens. We are only isolating ourselves in our attempts. So let's continue.
President Trump is just doing it for us. So all we have to do is sit back and watch. In the Biden administration, We block.
Okay, I wanted to share that with you. Now, I have something else that I also want to share with you. Let me remove Liz's comment. I have a lot of stuff. Let me see. What are we going to talk about now? I believe Trump's public health emergency. Now, if you don't know, the chair of the CDC stepped down on. Wait a minute. No, this is how I go. She threatened to step down because of RFK's crazy cuts that he's made, and she was upset that RFK Jr. Made a new protocol for the pandemic vaccines. He has made many changes in the scheduling of vaccines, and one of the ones is when there is a new strain of COVID that is coming out right now. He said that you can no longer go to the pharmacy to just get the the COVID shot. You must make an appointment with your doctor. You know, the doctors that many people are not going to have access to under this big fucked up bill. You're gonna have to go to a doctor to get that, and she is kind of upset about that. Now, let's not forget that the CDC just had a shooter come and pummel it with bullets behind his fears behind the COVID-19 virus. So this is what's going on. Robert F. Kennedy asked her to resign, and she did not resign. She said that she was going to fight it, and now allegedly 4547 has fired her, and she is a second person who says no, she is not fired because he cannot fire her. He does not have the authority to fire her. And after he allegedly fired her, three more long employed scientists with the CDC, they quit in protest. So we are getting a whole lot of RFK Juniors who is not a doctor himself, why he's over Health and Human Services, we do not know. We are getting a whole lot of his quacks getting jobs in the CDC. This is in my description box under "You May Die." So let's get into this story,
which could have massive implications. All right, folks, as you may or may not have heard by now, we have some urgent breaking news regarding another disastrous series of decisions by the Trump administration, which could have massive implication for the health of millions of Americans, not just now, but in the future. Take a look.
The big question at one of America's most vital public health institutions this morning, who's in charge? CDC Director Susan Manaras has been fired less than a month after she was sworn in. The White House says Manaras is not aligned with the president's agenda of making America healthy again. Her lawyers accuse Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. of, quote, weaponizing public health for political gain and putting millions of American lives at risk. A person familiar with the situation tells CNN that she clashed with Kennedy over vaccine policies and also his plans to share research that could draw links between immunizations and autism. Here's Manaras at her confirmation hearing just 2 months ago.
Vaccines absolutely save lives. And if I'm confirmed as a CDC director, I commit to making sure that we continue to prioritize vaccine availability. The FDA has, in the production of the COVID-19 vaccine, had approved the mRNA vaccines as safe and had demonstrated efficacy associated with them.
3 other top CDC officials are also out after raising the same concerns on vaccines. Joining me now in the group chat, Betsy Klein, senior White House reporter, Soshi Inahosa, former Justice Department official, and Mike Dubke, former Trump White House communications director. So, Betsy, since this is kind of out of the Trump administration, out of the White House, can you talk to me about this clash? In the hearings, she spoke highly of Trump. She talked about her ability to follow the kind of typical.
I just want you to be clear. 4547 nominated this woman. This woman was approved by Congress, and she was going to quit. But technically, she was going to take this firing. But technically, he does not have the authority to fire her because allegedly Congress is the one who would have to fire her. So let's get into that.
Protocols that are medically recommended. So why did this fall apart?
I think ultimately it was a clash between her and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over this issue of a number of staffers that he wanted her to let go. And because he didn't agree with them on a number of issues like vaccines, like HIV prevention, other topics, and she stood up for them, we are told in one of those meetings.
Leave it to RFK Jr., who said that blacks do not need to be vaccinated as much as white people. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. RFK Jr. said that black people do not need to be vaccinated as much as white people. He said that HIV and AIDS in black people, and I do believe Jewish people is different than HIV in other races of people. Therefore, what will that mean for sick people? What would that mean for people with HIV and AIDS? Will they, since it doesn't affect them as harshly, does that mean that black people who are sick with HIV and AIDS will not be receiving the same medical treatment to the extent of preventing it getting worse than white people, since he already thinks that it is not as bad in black people? And I think Jewish people. Don't quote me on the Jewish people, but I know black people. Okay, so
and it just wasn't able to. She wasn't able to break through.
All right, so we're going to look into a New York Times deep dive on this because a lot's happened since the story originally broke. But again, I cannot stress enough how deleterious this is for your health, the health of your friends, family, and loved ones in future generations as a consequence of RFK Jr.'s appointment to Health and Human Services Secretary. As a matter of fact, Bill Cassidy is a name I want you guys to remember because he is a Republican senator from Louisiana. He's a physician. He's a doctor. And in many ways, he was the decisive vote confirming RFK Jr. He had misgivings about RFK Jr., but was successfully pressured by Trump despite his misgivings.
But he fell in line. This is a senator from Louisiana who fell in line knowing that RFK Jr. Was unqualified and bad to put in this position. But what is he saying now about himself? And he's not the only one. All of the Republicans voted for this nimnut to be assigned. Now, since he has been assigned, we have seen him swimming in a creek that with a sign right in front of it saying "Do not swim." It is contaminated with E. coli. And what does he say? He says that hey, he believes in the herd immunity. You go in and you get all the germs on you that you can, and let your body fight it out. Let your immune system fight it out. Not only was he in there, he had his grandchildren in there with him in a DC, I forget the name. I think it was in Rock Creek Park. Yeah, they were doing it in the day, doing it as they lay in shit in Rock Creek Park, in shit in Rock Creek Park.
To confirming RFK Jr. Well, he's publicly freaking out now because he put his ass and his reputation on the line as a physician to confirm this kook. And now it's backfiring. It's continuing to backfire. I want you all to remember that because that man deserves nothing but your eternal contempt for endangering the lives of so many people. But let's take a look. CDC standoff. Kennedy's push to fire director devolves into chaos. Lawyers for the agency's chief, Susan Menarez, insist that the impasse with Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. can only be resolved by Donald Trump. The CDC dissolved into further turmoil on Thursday when guards escorted three top officials from the agency's Atlanta headquarters during the continuing standoff with the Trump administration over whether the CDC director would keep her job. The high-ranking officials decided to quit as RFK Jr. was demanding that the CDC director resign or be fired in a dispute largely over vaccine policy. The White House said late Wednesday that Dr. Menarez, an infectious disease researcher who was sworn in less than a month ago, appointed by the Trump administration, had been dismissed, but her lawyers, who said she had chosen, quote, protecting the public over serving a political agenda, insisted she remain CDC director until Donald Trump fired her personally. The dispute now appears to be in the hands of Trump, who has not weighed in publicly. A spokesperson for the White House did not respond to inquiry about whether the president could fire Dr. Menarez. Appearing on Fox News on Thursday morning, RFK Jr. criticized the CDC, quote, the agency is in trouble and we need to fix it, and we are fixing it, and it may be that some people should not be working there anymore. With Dr. Menarez facing an uncertain future at best and the agency's top ranks depleted, leading public experts wondered aloud Thursday whether the CDC could recover and what might happen should a pandemic or other health crises arise. Quote, as bad as things have been since January, the fire...
Okay, so they are wondering if it could recover if another pandemic arises. So we do know that it is very possible that that will happen. FEMA has also, I forget, it was close to 200 people who work for FEMA wrote a letter on the 20th anniversary of Katrina, no less, saying that they had such incompetence at high levels in FEMA, and they have whittled the staff down so badly that they don't know if they could help out in another storm. All of the lessons that they learned from the shortfalls of FEMA that have been put in place have been taken out of place and people fired, and these protections that they learned from going through FEMA are no longer available. So they also do not know if they could be effective if something catastrophic happened, such as Katrina again. And a couple of the people, I think under 100 people signed the letter. Some people were afraid to sign it because they were afraid that they would lose their job. And what happened? The people who signed it, they have been put on leave. They have been put on leave, and it is suspected that they will be fired for this. Is called they wrote this as a whistleblower's complaint of people inside the agency tasked with saving you and I, the American people, who pays for FEMA. But FEMA was they were allowed to create alligator Alcatraz using $480 million worth of FEMA's money. And there is a new detention center coming up. What did he call it? Deportation Depot is now coming to Florida since a judge has ruled that they had to close down Alligator Alcatraz within 60 days, stop any building on Alligator Alcatraz, and they were still building on. And who was paying for it? FEMA was going to be paying for it. Now, when what is his name? When the governor, what is that dude's name? When he announced the deportation depot, he also said that there will be federal FEMA funds paying for that. This is a private facility. So if somebody wants to open a private facility, why are FEMA funds going to pay for it? Do you ask yourself these questions when you hear the shit that is coming out of their mouths? But FEMA's not going to be there if you need them and have an emergency. That's what I want you to know. Okay.
Hiring of thousands of federal health workers, extreme budget cuts, the ongoing assault on our nation's vaccination system, and what we saw yesterday was was another level entirely, an extraordinary and systematic dismantling of the very top of our nation's public health system, said Dr. Richard Besser, a former acting director of the agency. In Washington, senators from both parties expressed dismay at the events unfolding at the CDC. The Republican-led Senate voted only last month to confirm Dr. Benares. She's the first CDC director to be subject to Senate confirmation. As such, she works at the pleasure of the president, not RFK Jr. This is where Bill Cassidy comes into play again. Just a truly spineless, despicable piece of shit. That's me, not the New York Times, saying that. The chairman of the Senate Health Committee, Bill Cassidy, a Louisiana Republican and physician who only voted for Kennedy after publicly agonizing over it, said on social media late Wednesday that the, quote, high-profile departures will require oversight by his panel. He did not elaborate, and his spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment. Senator Bernie Sanders, the Vermont independent and ranking member of the panel, called for a hearing with RFK Jr. and Dr. Benares and said the attempt to fire her was outrageous. Senator Patty Murray, Democrat of Washington and former chairwoman of the committee, called for RFK's, quote, immediate termination. The three officials who were ushered out the door by security on Thursday had resigned en masse. CDC employees had planned to gather at agency headquarters in Atlanta at 2:45 p.m. for a clap-out send-off to honor them, but they were rushed out before it could happen. The officials had decades of government experience and all influenced vaccine policy. Dr. Deborah Horry, the CDC's chief medical officer, coordinated the various arms of the agency. Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis ran the center that oversees respiratory illnesses and issues vaccine recommendations. Dr. Daniel
Respiratory illnesses. You know, the thing that R.F. Kennedy have stopped the RNA vaccines in any more research or work doing with the RNA vaccines. That is for your respiratory illnesses. Let's continue.
Jernigan supervised the center that oversees emerging diseases and vaccine safety. A fourth official, Dr. Jennifer Layden, who resigned a day earlier, led the Office of Public Health Data. Morale at the CDC has plummeted in recent months, with employees buffeted by mass layoffs and deep cuts in funding and core functions. And the agency and its employees are still reeling from a deadly shooting at its Atlanta headquarters in early August. A gunman fired hundreds of rounds at the building during work hours, killing a police officer, shattering windows, and terrifying employees. According to people familiar with the events, the relationship between RFK Jr. and Dr. Benares, an infectious disease researcher and a government scientist who's worked for administrations of both parties for 20 years, splintered over vaccine policy. So, let's take a look here. Adam Cankren says, where we're at, HHS says it's ousted the CDC director. CDC director says she's not been fired and isn't leaving. In the meantime, at least 4 senior officials have resigned. This is all happening only a month after RFK's handpicked, now ousted CDC director was confirmed. This is from a physician. This clip is going viral. Excuse me, this tweet is going viral on Twitter. Susan Benares is a career scientist with a history of integrity and evidence-based leadership. She was confirmed as CDC director less than a month ago, and RFK Jr. has already forced her out, not because she failed the job, but because she follows the science, not the grift. His, quote, radical transparency is a sham. This is about control, not truth. Step out of line, and you're gone. This is the Dr. Dimitri I'm blanking on his last name. I'm going to butcher his last name. I just referenced him in the article. Daskalakis, who was one of the 4 top-ranking officials who resigned. This is his resignation letter. It says, I'm writing to formally resign my position as the director of National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The decision has not come easily, as I deeply value the work that the CDC does in safeguarding public health, and I'm proud of my contributions to that critical mission. However, after much contemplation and reflection on recent developments and perspectives brought in light by RFK Jr., I find the views of he and his staff have shared challenge my ability to continue in my current role at the agency and in the service of the health of the American people. Enough is enough. I am unable to serve in an environment that treats the CDC as a tool to generate policies and materials that do not reflect scientific reality and are designed to hurt rather than improve the public's health. The recent change in the adult and children's immunization schedule threatens the lives of the youngest Americans and pregnant people. The data analyses that supported this decisions have never been shared with the CDC, despite my respectful requests to HHS and other leadership. This lack of meaningful engagement was further compounded by...
So I need to make sure my mic is on. So they changed the scheduling of immunization for children and pregnant women. And when he asked to see what data did they use to get to this change, they refused to share this data with him because there is no data. It's a bunch of crackpots that RFK Jr. has in there, some non-scientists, some grifters with their own products in there. A whole fool is over the CDC, and what is that going to mean to you and I? We're about to find out.
I quote frequently asked questions document
Take care of your health.
written to support the secretary's directive that was circulated by HHS without input from the CDC subject matter experts, and that cited studies that did not support the conclusions that were attributed to those authors. Having worked in local and national public health for years, I have never experienced such radical non-transparency, nor have I ever seen such unskilled manipulation of data to achieve a political end rather than the good of the American people. It's untenable to serve in an organization that is not afforded the opportunity to discuss decisions of scientific and public health importance released under the moniker of CDC. The lack of communication by HHS and other CDC political leadership that culminates in social media posts announcing major policy changes without prior notice demonstrate a disregard of normal communication channels and common sense. Having to retrofit analyses and policy actions to match inadequately thought out announcements in poorly scripted videos or page long X posts should not be how organizations responsible for the health of people should function. Some examples include the announcement of the change in the COVID-19 recommendations for children and pregnant people, the firing of scientists from ACIP by X posts, and an op-ed rather than direct communication with these valuable experts. The announcement of new ACIP members by X before onboarding and vetting have been completed, and the release of term of reference for an ACIP program workgroup, that ignored all feedback from career staff at the CDC. The recent term of reference for COVID vaccine work group created by the ACIP puts people of dubious intent and more dubious scientific rigor in charge of recommending vaccine policy to a director hamstrung and sidelined by an authoritarian leader. The desire to please a political base will result in death and disability of vulnerable children and adults. Their base should be the people they serve, not a political voting bloc. I've always been the first to challenge scientific and public health dogma in my career and was excited by the opportunity to do so again. I was optimistic that there'd be an opportunity to brief the secretary about key topics such as measles, avian influenza, and the highly coordinated approach to respiratory virus season. Such briefings would allow the exchange of ideas and a shared path to support the vision of making America healthy again. We're 7 months into the new administration, and no CDC subject matter expert from my center has ever briefed the secretary. I'm not sure who the secretary is listening to, but it's quite certainly not to us. Unvetted and conflicted outside organizations seem to be the sources HHS use over the gold standard science of the CDC and other reputable sources. At a hearing, RFK Jr.
Okay, unvetted people is who RFK is listening to, and he's making changes to the CDC on top of it, without even meeting once with any of his scientists at the CDC. Let that sink in.
Jr. said Americans should not take medical advice from him. To the contrary, an appropriately briefed and inquisitive secretary should be a source of health information for the people he serves. As it stands now, I must agree with him that he should not be considered a source of accurate information. Ouch. The intentional eroding of low-risk vaccines favoring natural infection and unproven remedies will bring us to a pre-vaccine era where only the strong will survive and many, if not all, will suffer. I believe in nutrition and exercise. I believe in making our food supply healthier, and I also believe in using vaccines to prevent death and disability. Eugenics plays prominently in the rhetoric being generated and is derivative of a legacy that good medicine and science should continue to shun. The recent shooting at the CDC is not while I'm resigning. My grandfather, who I am named after, stood up to fascist forces in Greece and lost his life in doing so. I'm resigning to make him and his legacy proud. I'm resigning because the cowardice of a leader that cannot admit that his and his minions' words over decades created an environment where violence like this can occur. I reject his and his colleagues' thoughts and prayers and advise that they direct those to people that they have not actively harmed. And it goes on like this. This is just, folks, this is not good news. It's just not good news.
Okay, I just wanted to give you a little bit of that information. Let me continue. If you did not know, we're in a world of trouble under this administration. Let me, an amateur, I give you a little bit. This is the same story. Let me share a little bit of this. This is called a amateur who's not very good at this. Official warned that RFK Jr. is dismantling the CDC. Let's go check this out. Here we go.
Coast to coast, because right now we are monitoring what is essentially a stare down between Donald Trump and the person he picked and put in charge of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention just a couple months ago. Her name is Dr. Susan Minares, who last night revealed that she is refusing to resign. She's under pressure to resign from the nation's top health official. That's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is the Health and Human Services Secretary. Lawyers for Minares provided the backstory. Quote, when Minares refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts, she chose protecting the public over serving a political agenda. For that, she has been targeted. This is not about one official. It is about the systematic dismantling of public health institutions, the silencing of experts, and the dangerous politicization of science. The attack on Dr. Minares is a warning to every American. Our evidence-based systems are being undermined from within. Science and integrity can never be compromised. Dr. Minares stood up for both, and she will continue to do so. Kennedy has tried firing her, and the White House tried firing her as well. But lawyers for Minares suggest that because her position, the position of CDC director, now requires Senate approval, Minares actually serves at the pleasure of the president himself, and therefore she needs to be fired personally by him, which is a little awkward. In March, another nominee for CDC director was abruptly withdrawn just prior to his confirmation hearing. At the time, Trump said this about Minares, quote, as an incredible mother and dedicated public servant, Dr. Minares understands the importance of protecting our children, our communities, and our future. Americans have lost confidence in the CDC due to political bias and disastrous mismanagement. The statement was in March. Then 2 months ago, she took part in a Senate confirmation hearing. 1 month ago, she was confirmed. Now it appears she's on the verge of being fired by Donald Trump personally. The big question, though, right now for us is why? What happened between then and now? Perhaps it's worth revisiting that confirmation hearing in June and the answer she provided that appeared to run up against RFK's ideology. Watch.
Do you agree with the American Medical Association that there is no scientific proven link between vaccines and autism?
I have not seen a causal link between vaccines and autism.
Any thoughts about the safety of mRNA vaccine in general?
The FDA has, in the production of the COVID-19 vaccine, had approved the mRNA vaccines as safe and had demonstrated efficacy associated with them.
So you would not be prejudiced from the get-go against such a platform, such a vaccine built upon a platform, whether it's for COVID, flu, for Lyme disease, or anything else?
That is why I have no a priori prejudice against the mRNA platform or any other approach that is being taken to develop vaccines.
Again, we don't yet know exactly why Minares was suddenly targeted by Kennedy. We only know that she insists she made
It's not mortgage fraud? Could it be mortgage fraud?
some principled stand in defiance of some directive. And the news of her firing has triggered an exodus of top talent. Following news of her firing, 4 other director-level CDC officials announced that they too were resigning. That includes the CDC's top respiratory illness and immunization official, who issued a statement that read in part, quote, I am unable to serve in an environment that...
Okay, so, all right, that link is also in my description box. Now, let's see what other big people who have already been fired or have stepped down because of this administration. I just really think that you need to know this. Here we go.
But she's going to lay it out for us how we're already in the midst of a fascist purge. Watch this.
Fired or pushed out the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, Second in Command of the Air Force, the Commandant of the Coast Guard, the Chief of Naval Operations, the Deputy Head of the NSA, the Head of the NSA and the Head of Cyber Command, the Chair of the National Intelligence Council. Now, just recently on Friday, they fired the Head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Chief of the U.S. Navy Reserve, and also the Head of the Navy SEALs. And this comes on top of the evisceration of the National Security Division of the Department of Justice and the wholesale reassignment or removal of the FBI's National Security Core operations. And you can follow these stories one by one, or you can look at the big picture and recognize that what's happening here might be quite important, particularly in the national security sphere. He is deprofessionalizing the U.S. military and federal law enforcement and federal emergency response, while he is turning those kinds of forces against the American people on American soil.
Well, he has them out there. He said that they are going to create a special police type force with some of the military that he has on the street. It seems like he plans to keep the military on the street for an extended period, far longer than the 30 days that the military can be deployed to the streets under an emergency circumstance without going back to Congress. Do you see that? Do you see all of these professionals with decades of training that have been let go with no reason? No reason given. By whom? Pete Hegseth, who the person who would not answer the question if he would command the military to shoot peaceful protesters. I'm just giving you the information because, you know, drip by drip, day by day, people may get some of this confused. I want a totality. I want to tally all of this that is going on.
If this were happening in any other country, what we would know instinctively was that the reason a leader would do something like that is because that leader wants to use those forces differently than what they've been trained for. A leader trying to deprofessionalize the sharp end of the spear does so because he wants to remove any professional restraint or internal ethics or culture that might otherwise hold those forces back from what he is now going to ask them to do. Watch what he does, not what he says.
So the purge has already happened. The purge has already happened. I mean, I remember in the first week, there were parts of the purge had begun, but now it's advanced more than I realized. And all those people that they axed, every single one of them, they have evidence, they have reason to believe that these people have a conscience. These people are independent thinkers. These people actually care about their oath to the Constitution of the United States above the occupant in the White House.
Therefore, they cannot hold these high-ranking positions to actually have morals, to actually prevent the military to do some unconstitutional shit to you based upon their orders that they should know better than to even give the military. So I just want you guys to know that. This link is also in my description box. We're getting to that. We are getting to that, Liz. Let's get to that right now. Liz said they are killing a class of people, and it's not the rich. Liz, ding, 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 ding. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. It is so very clear. Good health is your defense. Okay, so we're gonna get to this. Liz, I am so glad you're catching on. These links are in my description box. Now, one last thing, since we were talking about all the military that are out on the street, I want to show you this. A retired general calls 4547's National Guard plans unneeded and dangerous. This is in my description box as well.
There's a new order by President Trump to modify the Guard's organization and training and create rapid response units. Our Nick Schifrin is here with
Modify their training. That's what Rachel was talking about. A rapid response unit. That's what Rachel was talking about. He's changing their whole the whole order of what they are expected to be and do. Let's hear that
Guard
again.
troops into cities is a new order by President Trump to modify. Well, part of the administration's efforts to be able to send National Guard troops into cities is a new order by President Trump to modify the Guard's organization and training and create rapid response units. Our Nick Schifrin is here with that part of the story. Nick?
Jeff, yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order that each state's National Guard units would be, quote, resourced, trained, organized, and available to assist federal, state, and local law enforcement in quelling civil disturbances. And the Secretary of Defense will create a, quote, standing National Guard quick reaction force.
In quelling what? Civil disturbances. Could that be the citizens out there exercising their right, their constitutional right to protest their government? Civil disturbances. Are all protests now going to be garnered under the title of a civil disturbance, which they will bring in the National Guard to quell? It doesn't sound, I mean, it doesn't sound American, but we've seen it done in many Banana Republic countries. Let's keep it a buck. So let's be clear. This is an executive order that the 4547 signed and wants enacted. Why does he want that enacted? Okay. I'm just trying to put the pieces together here for y'all. Tell a friend and prepare yourself and stockpile things in your home. Have you some small bills ready. Have you some personal protection ready because this shit is finna to get haywire.
That shall be resourced, trained, and available for rapid nationwide deployment. For perspective on this, we turn to retired Army Major General Randy Manner, the former acting vice chief of the National Guard Bureau. General Manner, thanks very much. Welcome to the NewsHour. What's your reaction to the president's order, both this quick reaction force as well as the Guard's priorities?
I think this is unneeded and also very dangerous. It's setting a new precedent. This is something where, when I was the acting vice chief of the National Guard Bureau, we absolutely already put into place the ability of having quick reaction forces in every state, depending on the size, but also the state would depend on the size of these quick reaction forces. They were at the time, of course, targeting the ability to respond to emergencies in the state, such as floods, hurricanes, forest fires, earthquakes, and so on, to be able to save lives. The difference here is that it's focused on, quote unquote, public order. That's very disturbing. And also the idea of creating a unit whose primary mission is to deploy anywhere in the country to deal with potentially demonstrations or civil disorder as the president sees fit out of the DC Guard. That is not in keeping with the mission of the National Guard as a strategic reserve for our military and for our nation.
But if I may ask, one of the missions of the National Guard, is it not to be able to help with law enforcement? So what's so wrong if this vision is to have the National Guard, in fact, help with law enforcement?
The key difference is that the governors control the National Guards whenever they are not deployed by the president. As we have seen, not the mayor of DC, the mayor of Los Angeles, no one is requesting this additional assistance. This is something where the president is imposing the armed military to go into American cities. That is the most significant difference. And it's very important to remember that civil disturbance deployments by governors is actually the smallest amount of missions that have ever been, that are done by the National Guard. It is a rarity, whereas now the president is elevating it to be a significant capability for the National Guard.
So let's just step back. This focus on resourcing, training, organizing to quell civil disturbances, how different would that be from how the National Guard is currently organized?
All of our young men and women signed up for perhaps three reasons: to serve our country, to defend our citizens overseas against threats, and number two, to be able to save our citizens in times of natural disaster. And the third objective, of course, which, by the way, it's been a very distant third, but it's on the list, is to be able to, as needed by the governor or mayors, to back up their local authorities, their law enforcement authorities as needed, to back them up if perhaps they are overwhelmed with some kind of an emergency that occurs. It is not the predominant mission of the National Guard to do this. If the president is concerned about law enforcement, then what he should do is restore the $800 million to law enforcement for community engagement to recruit and train officers in that capacity. Our guardsmen on the streets of DC right now, which I was a DC guardsman for 13 years, they are not trained in law enforcement. Whereas law enforcement officers receive 4 to 6 months of training, our young men and women receive 3 or 4 hours of training, not months.
Let's talk about the impact on the guardsmen themselves. Defense officials tell me that the Quick Reaction Force would be able to cover the entire continental U.S., which would require splitting up a Quick Reaction Force, a few hundred in the West, perhaps Arizona, a few hundred in the South or East, perhaps Alabama. Could that work? And what would be the impact on the Guard's overall staffing, the ability to perform those other functions if this Quick Reaction Force were created like that?
First of all, the use of the National Guard in all of these deployments, 4,000 down in Los Angeles, over 2,000 into Washington, D.C., are decreasing military readiness because those soldiers are no longer training for their combat operations missions. That's very important for your viewers to understand. They are not doing their principal job. We should not be using the military against our own people in any capacity. This is not the history of our military, and we should not go there.
And finally, sir, the guardsmen who would be part of a Quick Reaction Force would be on perhaps a 1 hour or 2 hour time frame to be able to deploy. It means, for example, soldiers couldn't drink, they couldn't travel very far with their families. They would have to be close enough to the base to be able to respond that quickly. What is possible under the current level of National Guard staffing, and is that vision something that the National Guard could even execute today?
I was a member of the 82nd Airborne Division. We rotated readiness, and we had anywhere between 4 to 8 hours whenever we were on division ready brigade status. The National Guard does not operate that way. These are part-time citizens, soldiers. It is something where this is not physically possible to have a unit of any size ready to go with 400 people in that way, unless, of course, you were to triple or quadruple the size of the unit and rotate people through. This is not thought through. This is not representative of good, thorough mission planning. Even when I was in charge of Army operations worldwide on the Army staff, we obviously had to rotate units through Iraq and Afghanistan, both from the point of view of those that were in the combat theater, those that were training up for the combat theater, and then those that were returning from, so that they could focus on getting individual training, as well as, of course, have some time with their families. It is not possible, and it is not thought through the way that it is being talked about at this time.
Retired Army.
Okay. So thank you, Liz. Go ahead and get that dinner ready. I will be putting the beef ribs in the oven after my live is over. I will be doing the same thing you're doing now. So we heard all of that. There's Pete Hegseth was in a guard unit or something to that effect, and now he's running the Pentagon over all of these people who have been in the military for decades and have advanced in their ranking, and so this is why all of this stuff is being done in the United States. We have incompetence guarding the United States. But with this incompetence that is ruling the United States, what are they trying to make sure happens? They are trying to make sure that when poor people vote, their vote won't count. And they're trying to keep poor people even away from the polls with all these restrictive voting laws. They are boldly trying to take away the black vote, but you have some black people out here boldly touting their ignorance about not voting in the first place. Okay, so you know, let's listen to what a non-voter has to say when they know nothing about what's going on in the world, but where to sign up for welfare, Section 8, and food stamps. Let's listen to all of that. Okay, so this is what I want to get into is about. This is under the head, the in my description box under the rich don't want you to vote. So let me start with a little conversation. Here we go. A conversation with Rick Acosta. Now I'm gonna share this with you. Now I think she is a economist. Don't quote me, but I think she is an economist. Heather Cox Richardson. If you haven't gone over to her channel, go over and check her out. Very intelligent woman. Let's see what she is talking about and why she feel the rich don't want us to vote.
Certainty, but the way that the Republicans are trying to redraw these congressional maps, particularly
would get deals that actually worked for the American people. And that's something that if you're, as I said, if you're
now, she says something real good there as well. She said that people under a certain age may think that this politics that's going on right now, this bought and paid for politics that has been in effect since the Supreme Court allowed big money to be put in our elections. What is that? What was that? I'll think of it. I had a brain fart. With that ruling on big money being in our elections. Oh God, I cannot believe I cannot remember this simple thing. Okay, so she said she's telling you that before. Oh, it just keep coming to me a little bit. Before this, that politicians used to disagree, and then they would have to get together and they would have to make compromises with each other to make sure that the government was working for the people who put them in office, because that is the reason why they are put in office. They are not put in office to sit on the sidelines. What other bill have you seen go through Congress? None. The only bill that you seen them debate on is this budget bill, and the Congress has been sitting on their asses, amening 45, 47. The Congress and the Senate has done absolutely nothing this term, except for that bill. What is that? Citizens United. Since Citizens United has allowed corporations and people to just give these politicians slush funds, they don't have to do much to get elected, because if they do the biddings of these rich people, then these rich people can actually carry their campaign. And why do you think this is important? This is important because you saw that Elon Musk was the one who carried 45, 47's campaign. I'm gonna also show you how Peter Thiel carried J.D. Vance's campaign, and not only his campaigns, all of the jobs that he had that he underperformed in, all of the jobs that he had gotten and underperformed in, to the point where the CEO said that he doesn't do much. And they want to talk about meritocracy, getting things on your merit, and DEI is so bad. JD Vance is a whole DEI employee himself. Now, why does this matter? Why are you talking about J.D. Vance? Because he's the vice president, stupid. He's the vice president. He has no following, no soul. All he has is the support of a rich man who got him everywhere he got in life. And so who is this rich man? What does this rich man believe in? The rich man believes that women shouldn't have the right to vote. That's what this rich man that got J.D. Vance everywhere he's going to go. Now, do you think that they are going to stand around as 45, 47 melt apart with his sickly ass? Do you think that they're going to wait on him? When do you think there's going to be a time when they enact the 25th Amendment on 45, 47 because they have no more confidence in him, because he can no longer be used to them anymore? When do you think that's going to happen? So all the stuff that he has already ruined this nation with, do you think that that is no longer going to be in play? No, it's already in play. The deal has been sealed. And who's going to be taking it over? Let's hear this.
I think this is what's going on, is an attempt to rig our voting system. And with Congress coming back into session on September 2nd, clearly the fight over redistricting is going to be on the table. And I mean, making sure your Republican representatives, both at the national level, but also at the state level, in those states you mentioned, Texas, Indiana, Florida, Ohio, the places where Trump is putting pressure, hear that this is something that is deeply unpopular, because it is. Even Republicans don't like gerrymandering. We would like to have this straightened out around the country. And I do think there is one thing about the baby boomers, and that's that if you are under probably 55, you don't remember a time when American democracy worked. If you are over 55, you feel like what was our birthright has been taken over by this very small group of radical extremists that is trying to destroy democracy. And so I think one of the reasons so many of us are out there is because we can sit there and say, hey, we remember the way it used to work when Congress would compromise and you would get deals that actually worked for the American people. And that's something that if you're, as I said, if you're younger than 50 anyway, you don't remember when politics wasn't the Republicans simply playing it as an all or nothing game in which they were the ones who got to call all the shots.
That's such a great point. And the other thing that you are thinking back to your expertise on Reconstruction, I have to ask this question, and forgive me if it's a question that can't, be totally answered with any, 100% certainty. But the way that the Republicans are trying to redraw these congressional maps, particularly in Texas, but I would have to assume in Ohio and Indiana, wherever else they do it, is going to take congressional seats away from people of color. And I wonder if we have seen it to this degree since Reconstruction.
Well, I mean, this is what the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was designed to combat, of course.
Yeah.
So since 1965, no. And John Roberts, who is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, has made it his life's work to get rid of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So really, since then, we have not seen it. But one of the things that I think is important when you think about Reconstruction, and again in the present, is the degree to which the radical extremists have made poverty and people of color and women the same thing. It's two sets of language to say those people.
Boom, right there. Poverty, people of color, and women. They are trying to disenfranchise. Now, I'm going to play some more things that will help you understand exactly how and where the mindset is entrenched deeply. Understand that Peter Thiel, the creator, the owner of Palantir, he's a gay man as well. So let's continue.
People should not vote. So when in Texas, for example, they can say this is not again in the present, is the degree to which the radical extremists have made poverty and people of color and women the same thing. It's two sets of language to say those people should not vote. So when in Texas, for example, they can say this is not about race, this is only about partisan gerrymandering, which the Supreme Court has blessed. that doesn't preclude the fact that the Texas gerrymander makes a white vote significantly more powerful than a black or brown vote, or than
Yeah.
a, so that that unity of the way we talk about race and class in the United States matters, and it actually comes out of Reconstruction when, after the 15th Amendment in 1870 and the establishment of the Department of Justice in 1870, it became a federal crime to discriminate against Black men at the voting places on the grounds of race, right?
Right.
But as soon as that happens in 1871, former Confederates, especially in South Carolina, begin to say, hey, we don't have any problem with anybody's race. Our problem is that these people are poor, and they're trying to elect people who will put down roads and build schools and build hospitals, and that can only be paid for with tax dollars paid for by property owners. And since only white people own property in the post-Civil War South, this is a redistribution of wealth from white people to Black people, and it is a form, they said, of socialism. And it's important to think about that word socialism in the United States as a political term, not as an economic term. It means we don't want poor people, especially poor people of color, to vote. Similarly, when they start talking about capitalism as opposed to capital or capitalists, they start doing that after this period in which they start talking about socialism as poor people voting. And they talk about how America should be about capitalism. And now, of course, we understand that as an economic term, but what they were saying at the time was that the people who should be running the government are people with money. And that's
Oh, okay. This link is in my description box. Under they don't want you, the rich don't want you to vote. I'm gonna leave it there. I have a couple of more things that I want to share and connect with you on this topic. So please go over and check her out. Check out this link in my description box, and let's go here. I've played this once before. Let me remind you who Peter Thiel is. Let me. Okay. Here we go.
And just hold on and trust me, because it's not that chilling until you realize what it means.
The basic idea was that we could never win an election on getting certain things because we were in such a small minority. But maybe you could actually unilaterally change the world without having to constantly convince people and beg people and plead with people who are never going to agree with you through a technological means. And this is where I think technology is this incredible alternative to politics.
That's tech billionaire and Republican megadonor Peter Thiel speaking at a Libertopia, a libertarian conference in 2010. He's basically saying that his political ideology is so unappealing that it'll never win elections. And that's one thing he's right about, because he's railed against women having the right to vote, complained so much about diversity, and written some really disgusting stuff about sexual assault and consent. But he knows that he can use technology as a unilateral alternative to politics, and that should really freak you out. Thiel is one of the co-founders and biggest investors in Palantir, a CIA-funded technology company that has contracts across the government for their data software. Here's their CFO speaking a few years ago.
We continue to advance our mission of becoming the U.S. government's central operating system as we extend our footprint across defense, healthcare, and civilian agencies.
And while both President Obama and Biden did sign Palantir contracts, President Trump is taking it way further. There are new contracts with ICE, something literally called Immigration OS, and the IRS. So 15 years ago, Peter Thiel, like the supervillain in a movie explaining his plan to the hero, admitted that he can use technology to get his ideas across when they're unpopular, completely subverting democracy. And today, one of his technology companies is gaining more and more power within the government.
Completely not having to do anything regarding democracy. He wants his way, and fuck you and your vote. You shouldn't have one anyway. I have a political idea, and I don't want your vote to count.
government, building the very systems our government relies on. And oh yeah, this is the CEO.
The central risk to Palantir and America and the world is a regressive way of thinking that is corrupting and corroding our institutions, that calls itself progressive, but actually, and is called woke, but is actually a form of a thin pagan religion.
If you're a progressive, if you have progressive values, meaning you just, I don't know, care about other people, the CEO of the company building America's technological back end thinks of you as the central risk. He thinks of you as the enemy. Are these the people you want running the systems you rely on, or worse, the systems that surveil you? I want to play for you one of the most chilling clips I've ever heard. And just hold on and trust me, because it's not that chilling until you realize what it means.
The basic idea was that we could never win an election on getting certain things because we were in such a small minority. But maybe you could actually unilaterally change the world without having to constantly convince people and beg people and plead with people who are never going to agree with you through a technology.
We don't have to bring you over to our way of thinking about the vote. We can get around you and have our way with the United States. Why? Why do they believe that? Because of this right here. Pay to play. It's going to become a time when these people, all of these government agency, is going to have to pay the piper. They're gonna have to put them legs up. Let me go on and share with you more. Now, I said that Peter Thiel didn't want women to vote. And what am I basing this on? I'm basing it on this report right here. And no, that's not the one. Here it is. Right here. Let me share this with you.
I mean, the billionaire who gave him all of his jobs and installed him in the US Senate, and who then reportedly told Trump to put him on the ticket with him as his vice presidential running mate, that billionaire himself is on the record saying he does not believe in democracy. He does not believe that women should have the right to vote in America. He once spent a small chunk of his huge fortune trying to get people to move onto take him out amid all the red flags. I mean, the billionaire who gave him all of his jobs and installed him in the US.
The him she's talking about J.D. Vance. The billionaire who gave him all of his jobs and supported his Senate run. And when you think that this man is now the vice president of the United States, let's see how much government experience he has. Peter Thiel told you he don't feel like bringing everybody over to his side. He doesn't feel like winning over people with election. He feels like he knows the best way that things should be done. So just get a Manchurian, a fake candidate to run. So let's hear how our VP was propped up by Peter Thiel. Here we go. Right here. Here we go. Rachel Maddow exposes the real reason J.D. Vance was chosen to be 4547's running mate. Now, I do believe that this is at the Republican National Convention where she broke this down. Yes, this is the this is the Republican National Convention. This was last year sometime. We were warned about this.
Has not been particularly. even though the audience, the television audience for this convention thus far has not been particularly large by modern standards, one might expect that people will tune in tonight to hear from this new running mate for Donald Trump, who many people will have never heard of before this week. J.D. Vance is not a widely known public figure. He is best known for having written a well-received autobiography, which he started while he was at Yale Law School. Mr. Vance also served for 6 months in Iraq as a public affairs unit officer in the Marine Corps. Served in a public affairs unit in the Marine Corps. Yes, even the Marines do have public relations. They're great at it, in fact. But that is the type of unit, a public affairs unit, that he was in when he was in Iraq. After he did his law degree, again at Yale, he became a protege of a very right-wing billionaire who you might remember from the first Republican National Convention that nominated Donald Trump for president. He had a primetime speaking slot. It was one of the weirder speeches of the 2016 RNC. His name is Peter Thiel. He got J.D. Vance a job at a biotech company in San Francisco after J.D. Vance graduated from law school. Peter Thiel got him that job, literally. The company's CEO says explicitly that J.D. Vance was hired, quote, as a favor to Peter, meaning as a favor to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel then got J.D. Vance a second job. He directed one of his venture capital companies that they, too, should hire J.D. Vance. See, this is why these guys are so against any kind of affirmative action, because clearly they got where they are in this life out of sheer merit, as represented by having your billionaire friend call people and tell them to hire you, even though they're not sure why they're supposed to be hiring you. After Mr. Vance washed out of the second job that Peter Thiel gave him, Mr. Vance then got another job at a different venture capital firm with another tech billionaire, with Steve Case, who founded AOL. How did that one work out? Mr. Case is on the record saying, quote, he wasn't really working very much. Nevertheless, Mr. Vance then was able to go and start another venture capital firm with, surprise, yet more help from Peter Thiel. Like Mr. Thiel, who has named his companies after things in the Lord of the Rings series of J.R.R. Tolkien books. Lord of the Rings is a sort of favorite cosmos for naming things and cultural references for a lot of far-right and alt-right figures, both in Europe and the United States. Peter Thiel names all these things after Tolkien figures and places, like his company Palantir, for example. Like his mentor, like Peter Thiel, who had given him all his jobs in the world, Mr. Vance also, when he founded his own venture capital firm with help from Peter Thiel, named it after a Lord of the Rings thing. He called it Narya, Narya, which you can remember because it's Aryan, but you move the end to the front. Apparently that word has something to do with elves and rings from the Lord of the Rings series. I don't know. In his new firm, Mr. Vance made one notable investment in one Kentucky company. That Kentucky company went public and then promptly went bankrupt. So that's the career. Does that sound like the rocket fuel trajectory of a person on a fast track to be nominated as the vice presidential nominee of the Republican Party of the United States before he turns 40? No, it does not. Writing a memoir and otherwise being Peter Thiel's intern is not usually the way you get to be a vice presidential nominee. It's not usually the way you get to be a United States senator either, but it is the way you get to be a U.S. senator if you're J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance's campaign for the U.S. Senate was the first time he ever ran for anything. His campaign was substantially, emphasis on substantially, funded by Peter Thiel, who dumped $15 million into a super PAC that supported J.D. Vance's run for Senate. That super PAC then further effectively took over the operation of the campaign and ran most of it for Mr. Vance. And after Peter Thiel personally took J.D. Vance to meet Donald Trump, literally, Peter Thiel physically walked him into the meeting and presented him to Trump. That is how Vance got the Trump endorsement for that U.S. Senate seat, which is all you need to win a Republican primary for Ohio Senate in 2020.
That's all the merit you need? Is that all the merit J.D. Vance has needed in his life? Let's not forget about how he's doing the farmers over by buying up all the farmland, and then renting them spaces on their previous farmland. Let's not forget that J.D. Vance is trying to be the next Bill Gates with this company that buys farmland. Let's continue. How he get that gig? See, he's that rich that he's going around the United States buying up farmland.
That's how he won the Republican primary. He then vastly underperformed other Ohio Republican candidates on the general election ballot in 2022, but he did win, which is how he got into the United States Senate a grand total of a year and a half ago. And that's how he got to be the vice presidential nominee of the Republican Party right now.
He had been a senator for a year and a half, not a whole Senate term. Understand. Now, why do you think that Peter Thiel has been investing so much in this numbnut? Why?
As internships go, that's a really good internship. The choice of J.D. Vance to be Donald Trump's running mate is reportedly a decision that was only made at the very last minute, like the day before it was announced. You do not choose a person like Mr. Vance because you think you need help winning the election.
You don't choose Vance because you think you need help winning the election. Now, let's understand. You don't think you need help winning the election? You got Elon Musk fronting you all of this money for your campaign, and then you got Peter Thiel dragging a unqualified J.D. Vance into your office, another billionaire. And then all of a sudden, 45-47, just by mere chance, chooses J.D. Vance. What do you think? Did I say millionaires? I hope I didn't say millionaires. I don't want to insult these men. These billionaires. What do you think that these billionaires had to do with J.D. Vance being the vice president? And why do you think that of all of the people that Peter Thiel could have brought to 45-47 as a VP hopeful, did he bring someone who was relatively young, who possibly had many years behind him where he can be a puppet? Let's not forget, J.D. Vance has already shown what a puppet he really is. Prior to I think it was during and after 45-47's first term, he was a never Trumper. He said that something to the effect that he thought that Trump had a fascist regime in his first term. So all the way up to turning around and yes, I will run on the ticket with him. So they already knew what a puppet they had. Let's make it clear. If you did not know, J.D. Vance would go around and drag 45-47 and call himself a never Trumper. But he's the VP. With the help, I get by a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I wear eyeliner with a little help from my friend. Okay, let's continue.
When they chose J.D. Vance, they did not think they needed any help winning this next election. If you're trying to make up for some, soft spots, some weaknesses in the Republican Party's electoral prospects, you do not, for example, choose a vice presidential running mate who is on the record on tape taking this position.
I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally.
I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally. 2022 podcast interview first unearthed by CNN Today, in which J.D. Vance says, I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, whatever you think about his politics and his political instincts, he's been very open about the fact that he sees the Republican Party's strong stance against abortion, particularly a strong stance for a national abortion ban, as an electoral loser. Even though Mr. Trump is the one who orchestrated the overturning of Roe versus Wade and therefore the Republican abortion bans all over the country, Trump has admitted that strongly restrictive stances on abortion, particularly a nationally restrictive stance on abortion, will cost the Republicans elections they could otherwise win. So then why do you pick J.D. Vance to be a running mate? If you are Donald Trump and you pick a running mate and you're looking to pick a running mate to help your electoral prospects because you're worried about your chances of winning the election, you would never pick Mr. I would certainly like abortion to be illegal nationally. You would never pick a national abortion ban guy. Right? You would also not pick a guy who says we're in a, quote, late Republican period in this country. And he doesn't mean capital R Republican. He means small r Republican, meaning we are at the end of being a republic. J.D. Vance quoting there, a far-right internet personality and blogger who famously advocates openly for the United States to become a monarchy or an outright dictatorship, who has called for abolishing the U.S. government, the U.S. system of government being abolished so we can instead be ruled by a Caesar figure. That is who J.D. Vance has been citing when he talks about us being an can instead be ruled by a Caesar figure. That is who J.D. Vance has been right dictatorship, who has called for J.D. Vance quoting there, a far-right internet personality and blogger who famously advocates openly for the United States to become a monarchy or an outright dictatorship.
I think that person would be Curtis Yarvin. J.D. Vance quotes Curtis Yarvin quite frequently. I do believe that this is Yarvin who he is quoting. Yarvin came out and said that the American people need to get used to the word dictator. He said that America should be treated like any corporation, and the president would then be the CEO. And so I've played this for you. He said that America needs to get used to the word dictator. Now, here he is inside the right wing, where Peter Thiel is placing his biggest bets. J.D. Vance is quoted as, "We are in a late Republican period." Vance later said, invoking the common right view of America as Rome awaiting its Caesar. So, was he promised to be the Caesar? Let's continue.
Dictatorship, who has called for abolishing the U.S. government, the U.S. system of government being abolished, so we can instead be ruled by a Caesar figure. That is who J.D. Vance has been citing when he talks about us being in a late Republican period as a country. That's what he thinks about.
That's what he thinks about us being in a late republic, republic time. That's what he's talking about. A late republic period. A period of time that is about to disappear. And what has this really proven? That our democracy, our republic, has disappeared under this administration. It's waiting on its Caesar. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that J.D. Vance says that he still has fond feelings for Elon Musk, and he thinks that Elon Musk will come back into the fold sometime, but probably certainly not now, because he and what does the taco tits, the I'm sick of it, people call him Taco Tits, is he and Elon Musk are, having a dispute. So, now, we do understand that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel go way, way back, make good money together. So, now, what's going on between your boss and Elon Musk, but you're out here publicly saying that you hope that Musk comes back into the fold of the Republican Party. For who? For who's? For the benefit of whom? It's not for the American people, obviously. So, let's go.
Where we are as a country and where we should go as a country. You do not pick a man like that if you are worried about your electoral prospects. I mean, the man who created J.D. Vance as a political figure out of whole cloth and gave him all his jobs and also his seat in the U.S. Senate and also his introduction to Trump, he says he does not believe freedom is compatible with democracy. He wants freedom, so that means he does not want democracy. If you are Donald Trump and the Republican Party and you are worried about your ability to win this election in November, you would not pick J.D. Vance as your vice presidential candidate. You can only pick a candidate as out there as J.D. Vance if you're really thoroughly quite sure that you're going to win, no matter what kind of craziness you put on the ticket and what you're going to bring into the White House with you. J.D. Vance is not the guy you pick to win over suburban women or whatever. He's not the persuade the undecideds guy. J.D. Vance is the guy you bring in to change the American system of government into whatever it is you think comes after us being a republic. And you only do that because you already think you have the election in the bag. What is coming together on both sides of the political spectrum right now is that Republicans who are thrilled to have it in the bag think they have it in the bag. And that's why tonight isn't Nikki Haley giving her acceptance speech. It's not, even Tim Scott or Marco Rubio. It is national abortion ban, end of the republic, J.D. Vance, who was giving the speech tonight. On the Democratic side, this very serious reported turn related to President Biden's prospects of staying at the top of the ticket in this race. These reported visits to the president from the top Democrats in Congress. What is the reporting about this? They're not just going to him and expressing their opinion. They're going to him and they're bringing him the polling. And it is not about the Republicans' hopes and expectations that they have it in the bag. It is about the Democrats' fear that the Republicans might be right. And that, therefore, a radical change might be necessary to avert what Democrats fear is an otherwise inevitable course.
Okay, if you didn't know, that was the Republican National Convention, where 45-47, they was presented to be the top of the Republican ticket, and Biden was still in the race. This was so long ago that this information may have I may have slid over some of you, some not of you, some people's head. I just wanted to remind you of that and why it is important. I also, I'm going to go back a little bit before I go forward, because I also play this clip for you guys. I just talked about Curtis Yarvin. Okay, so I've done this a couple of times with you guys. Let's see who Curtis Yarvin is.
It's wake up, but what they need to wake up to is the fact that J.D. Vance says not only do conservatives need to, in his words, wake up, but what they need to wake up to is the fact that most of American life and culture should be, in his words, ripped out like a tumor. Those are, again, his words, not mine. Watch.
Our leaders right now are so corrupt and so vile that if you assimilate into their culture, you're assimilating into like garbage liberal elite culture. You're not assimilating into traditional American culture. And so this is a tough pickle for me. I don't even know what the right answer is here, because you can't just teach these things. You can't teach that we live in a great country if the leaders are actively aligned against it. So almost the thing that you need to do, step one in the process, is to totally replace, like rip out like a tumor, the current American leadership class, and then reinstall some sense of American, political religion.
We need to rip it out like a tumor and then install political religion.
Do you notice that political religion is being installed? Didn't you hear what they're doing in Oklahoma with the Bibles? Several states that are saying that actual lesson plans should be taught from the Bible as well. Let's continue.
The man who is interviewing J.D. Vance here gets very excited about this idea, and it leads, this is important here, it leads J.D. Vance to explain sort of influences on his thought, where he gets his ideas on subjects like this.
You said.
So let's see, who was he quoting? Who was he quoting in that Vanity Fair piece that I showed you in the last video that I shared with you? Let's find out. And let's find out who this person is. Now, I actually also played this Jack Murphy interview with Vance earlier. Sometime when I found out about it last year. But Ronnie Q, but you have dummies who were telling you, you had a carpet mouth dummy who was telling you all the goodness of 45-47 and why 45-47 had better policies, trying to make his black ass be an elitist over all the rest of the black peons. He had you telling you all the goodness of 45-47, but Ronnie Q was telling you before Biden even pulled out of the election. This is what Ronnie Q was telling you. Now that fucking pickle-faced motherfucker had the audacity to say that Ronnie Q doesn't know anything about politics. So who wants to listen to Ronnie Q do politics? People who want to be informed. I played this Rachel Maddow piece, and I also played this original interview. But I digress. Let's continue.
Something that I would like to zero down on. How do we effectively, quote, rip out the disgusting leadership class?
Oh, man. I mean,
because let me expand on that just a second, because and I'm going to give you a little cover here, because it's not just, I mean, obviously elections, that's one thing.
Okay. But unfortunately, this evil leadership class has already taken over all of our institutions. Current pipeline is to turn them into those people that we just call evil and disgusting. How do we, aside from elections, how do we rip out this leadership class? So these institutions are corrupted and rotted to the core. This elite ideology is everywhere and in all the things. What other options do we have besides voting them out, which we're seeing is ineffectual?
Yeah. So again, this is like a tough question, but this is maybe the question that confronts us right now. You know, there's this guy Curtis Yarvin who's written about some of these things.
Knowing chuckle there. There's this guy Curtis Yarvin who's written about some of these things. This is Curtis Yarvin, who J.D. Vance is citing here as he is talking about the need to, seize the universities, use the government to destroy businesses who aren't right wing. Talking about needing to rip out the American system like a tumor.
Now, what is also peculiar about this whole situation is, if memory serves me right, isn't Curtis Yarvin a Holocaust denier? And this administration is doing a whole lot of this bullshit that they're doing under the guise of, being anti-Semitic is bad. But we had J.D. Vance quoting the works of Yarvin in interviews as much as he could. That's why he was kind of like, he hedged a little bit. Now he's going to come out and say where he's gotten these ideas, and he did come out and say where he got these ideas. So let's see who Curtis Yarvin is. Let's listen to him. I'm going to put my close caption on here just in case he is low for you.
Here's the guy he is citing as his sort of the source of his thinking on these matters.
So I've reduced this very complicated problem to a simple 4-letter acronym, which is RAGE. And RAGE stands for Retire All Government Employees. Very, very simple. Now, the problem with this is, why have you never heard this before? Why has no one ever suggested, let's just get rid of this thing? You have a government in Washington. You're either for it or against it. What is government? A government is just a corporation which owns a country. Nothing more, nothing less. It so happens that our sovereign corporation is very poorly managed. And there's a very simple way to replace that, which is what we do at all corporations that have failed. We simply delete them. We haven't been able to do that with our government for 200 years. So it's gotten a little bit stale.
We should delete the U.S. government because it's stale. It has been around for too long. We haven't been able to do that, meaning delete our government for 200 years, so it's gotten a bit stale. It's been around too long. So what would that entail, deleting the U.S. government?
The other thing about getting rid of your government is you can't just say, well, the limits of the government are the limits of the formal government. You have to say, well, what is the system actually? And it includes a lot of things that are called NGOs, things that are called universities, things that are funded by the state. It's a very, very large system, and it all needs to be destroyed. Fortunately, there's a lot of talented Americans.
Now, a person running for vice president who is quoting this man that all the government needs to be destroyed, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? He has gotten to be the vice president in a year and a half of being propped up as a Senate candidate that he could barely win with all of this billionaire's money. What does that tell you? Let's continue.
Who actually know how to run things and make things work and are generalists. And you can just get these people, put them in a position of responsibility and have them do their thing. And finally, you need a CEO. And a national CEO is what's called a dictator. It's the same thing. There's no difference between a CEO and a dictator. If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over their dictator phobia.
If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over their dictator phobia. So the vice presidential candidates debate is tomorrow. Tim Walz, the Democratic candidate, has been governor, is currently the governor of Minnesota. He's been a long-term congressman, high school teacher, football coach, a soldier for decades. J.D. Vance, the Republican candidate, is a different kind of cat, forgive me. Aside from a brief stint in the Marine Corps, where he served with a public affairs unit, he has spent his entire adult life working for or being financially supported by eccentric right-wing tech billionaires, specifically ones who have devoted themselves to the political teachings of this guy.
Finally, you need a CEO, and a national CEO is what's called a dictator. It's the same thing.
I have debated whether or not to talk about this on the show because I feel like it gives me the oogs. But I also feel like this is an important thing to know about the Republicans' vice presidential nominee and what he has to offer and why he was brought onto the ticket despite his palpable lack of political skill or likability, his lack of any track record in politics whatsoever. And after he spent less than 2 years in the only public office he's ever held, which is a Senate seat that he only barely won thanks to one of those eccentric tech billionaires giving him the single largest Senate campaign donation in the history of this country. I mean, he comes wholly from this very, very obscure, eccentric, right-wing subculture of tech billionaires. And his relationship with this eccentric Silicon Valley pro-dictatorship philosophy has been pretty widely discussed in print. These are all.
Let me hold this, let you guys read some of these headlines. Curtis Yarvin's American Democracy toppled. He has some prominent Republican fans. Vanity Fair, inside the new right wing, where Peter Thiel is placing his biggest bet. TNR, where J.D. Vance gets his weird, terrifying, techno-authoritarian ideas. The New York Times, where does J.D. Vance ideology really come from? The Spectator, J.D. Vance has some weird influences. Politico, the 7 thinkers and groups that have shaped J.D. Vance's unusual worldview. I don't know what I is. The far-right guru who has befriended Silicon Valley's extreme factions. The far-right guru would be Curtis Yarvin.
Whole bunch of articles that have discussed this at one level or another. It's been discussed in print, but I don't feel like it's widely understood by the country who is paying attention to this guy as a candidate. But this is where J.D. Vance's big ideas come from about where the country is heading for. Quote, Vance is.
Are y'all paying attention now to J.D. Vance as 45, 47 can't even sit in a regular chair when he have people coming to the White House? He has to be sat behind his resolute desk to hide his swelling cankles. Do you guys have any questions now that 45, 47 appears to be on an obvious IV drip? Thus his hands are always bruised? Do you guys have any questions now? The oldest president in history who is so out of shape, has always been out of shape, and is totally delusional. I don't know if the delusions have gotten worse, but he's always been delusional. So are you guys worried now? Who would replace him? If you're not, I am. These links are in my description box. Let's move on. I have one more thing. Is it? No, I have 1, 2. I have 3 more things about Peter Thiel to familiarize you with who Peter Thiel is. The financier of J.D. Vance, our vice president. Here we go. Now, this is the CEO of Palantir. We understand all of the things
Palantir
that,
CEO Alex.
we understand all of the things in the government that Palantir has their hands in. Let's go.
Scarp never one to hold back. He has now been calling out corporate America for its silence following Hamas's attack on Israel October 7th. Here's what we had to say yesterday in Washington about the protests across college campuses and potentially hiring from them as well.
Of course, I've been calling out the thin, corrosive, cancerous ideology that regresses below Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, and any form of Western thought that is now a pagan religion infecting our universities, because it's dangerous to America. It is dangerous to allow discrimination on our college campuses simply because the people are being discriminated against are viewed as successful. That is really dangerous.
Okay, so that they are protesting because the people, the Jewish people, are successful. Exactly, Leonard. Now he's on this. Oh, or they're just mad with they're being discriminated against because the Jewish are successful. Successful at what? What are they successful at in this war that is being protested? We're not talking about individual success. We're talking about the war. But you see how they try to lull you into some false reality of what's really going on. And let's also understand that these guys are big friends with the previous guy I just showed you, Yarvin. Let's continue. This is all a fucking mind fuck for people like coat covered tongue Bradley, who want to believe if I just have the mindset of these people, it would mean that I am a successful person, and my thought is bigger than all of you peons' thought. No, you're fucking. We already know you have cultish ways. You are buying into the cult who wants you to be subservient to the rich. Let's continue.
Dangerous, and we have, especially people like me who view themselves as progressive, need to stand up. It's divided. I've had people, mostly in the corporate case, people are like, "Are you sure you should say that?" and are like, supportive. I would say in my intellectual circles, there are a lot of people, especially on the Israel issue, that are uncomfortable with my position, and I sometimes fight with them. But I'll tell you, it's important for building a software company that you say in public what you say in private. We kind of just think these things that are happening across college campuses especially are like a sideshow. No, they are the show. Because if we lose the intellectual debate, you will not be able to deploy any army in the West ever.
Right.
And of course our adversaries. Why don't we talk about why there's no tech scene in China or Russia? Like, there is no tech scene. There are no software companies. Why don't we?
Okay, so we're going to ignore how the Chinese, I forget the name of their AI, has beaten the shit out of American AI. Are we gonna forget that there was a freeze on bringing any chips into China? That Biden put a freeze on any chips going to being made in China. Are we going to forget that and try to spur over 800,000 jobs in the United States, which 47 took all of that away as soon as he got into office? Are we playing games here? Okay, so that's why they like their electric dumb.
Bring the intellectual battle to them. Hey, you want a tech scene that can support your GDP? You've got to have a free, open, meritocratic, diverse, intellectually curious.
He's talking about you need a tech source to support your GDP when the United States GDP only grew 2% as opposed to China. I think it was either 4 point something or 5%. India GDP rose even higher. I think it was 7 or 8%. But he's sitting up here letting you believe that America needs them to make their GDP rise. Like the United States is saturated with these tech people in politics. Where's the rise in our GDP? I don't see a rise in our GDP. I do, however, see a rise in your profits. I see a rise there. Let's continue.
Environment where you get to keep the equity that you build. Like we're just not showing up for that. Like we're just not intellectually curious environment. Hey, you want a tech scene that can support your GDP? You've got to have a free, open, meritocratic, diverse, intellectually curious environment where you get to keep the equity that you build. Like
you need a meritocratic a system built on merit where people can build their tech stuff and you get to keep the stuff that you build. Is that right? Well, how come you're not telling that to Intel? Are you telling that to Intel that 4547 hustled 10% of their shares from them and trying to say that it's going to be added to a United States sovereign wealth fund? Can you really keep the stuff you make? I guess if you're on the outs like the Intel CEO was, you can't do that. I guess if you pay 4547 enough money, then you as an individual company can keep what you pay. But be guaranteed if you slip a pinky finger, a peen, a tongue up this snatch right here, you're gonna come out like another person around these streets with some bumps on it. You are going to come out with some bumps on it. So this is the shit that they are actually out here talking.
We're just not showing up for that debate, and that is the debate where we win or lose.
Okay.
Hell of a thing.
So that's the debate where they win or lose. Is that the debate that it's even on the table? They are already winning. Now, let's be clear. That Palantir is over the over a lot of war type of defense type of stuff. It is said that Palantir is the one that has the technology that is rating Israelis based on how close, not Israelis, Palestinians, based upon how close they are to known Hamas people. And it is in rating them, they have facial recognition technology that they can send into Palestine and find where the Palestinian people are hiding. They can find one face that they say is a number 7 and number 8 is close to a Hamas member, and they can actually unalive that number 7 because it is so close to number 8. Did you know that Palantir is the one who has that technology, who 4547 has let invest so much into our all of our military? Did you know that? Did you know that? I think you really need to understand that. Okay, so I think y'all got it. So let me share this with you. They call it, what do they call it? A social credit rating. That is a social credit rating. So let me tell you. Wait a minute. There is one more that I want you to see before we go to the social credit rating. This is a whistleblower of sorts who said that he worked for Palantir. I'm going to play a little of his story. You can find it in my description box.
Do that, but to criticize an employer that also owns extremely lethal technologies and surveillance technologies that are highly invasive and used in war zones is something else entirely. It's one thing to criticize your former employer. It's taboo to do that. But to criticize an employer that also owns extremely lethal technologies and surveillance technologies that are highly invasive and used in war zones is something else entirely.
It's 2025. We're all kind of used to government surveillance. The idea that we're all being watched all the time and don't own our own personal data has become normalized. We're also used to the military spending vast amounts of our money on just a few giant defense contractors. But one tech company wants to change both of those things and become the ultimate military contractor and the ultimate arbiter of all of our data.
Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
Check out Palantir shares surging 22% after the company cited.
And you hear how he slipped that in, and on occasion kill them.
A boom in demand for its AI software from the U.S. government.
We're doing it. We're doing it. And I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as I am.
Palantir, a tech company based here in Denver, claims they can revolutionize government systems with their data analysis software, newly powered by artificial intelligence. They've been hired by the Department of Defense, the FBI, local police departments, and even the IRS and Wendy's to take in the information those organizations collect even more information, and use that data to draw conclusions.
It can be used to completely reconfigure organizations' ontology, its reality, what systems matter, what information matters, what processes matter, how they are structured, what biases are introduced at each of those stages.
We talked to a former Palantir employee, dug into decades of research, and listened to hours of Alex Karp's own words to unwrap the layers of Palantir's carefully cultivated sales pitch, how they capitalize on fear, uncertainty, and unrest.
I don't think in win-lose, I think in domination. This is a company built for bad times. Bad times mean strong finances internally. Bad times are very good for Palantir because we build products that are robust, that are built for danger.
Let's rewind a little. Palantir's story starts with one of the most effective things a company can have for sales: fear. After these.
And how can you manufacture bad times in the United States? You can take out unconstitutionally take out all of the guarantees of the Constitution, and these emergency forces on the street in DC to fight crime. You can have somebody in the White House who is willing to declare emergencies. Okay, because everything is based on fear. How many people have you seen, even though the crime rates in Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Baltimore have been falling? How many citizens have you actually come out and say, well, I'm glad they put them out here. Well, I'm glad that they put them out here. I'm glad that they put them out here. Some black people are saying that as well. I am glad that they put them out here. Now, understand, this operation is works best when people are afraid. Just like anything that is going to override your rights. Work best when you are afraid. After 9/11, that wireless, the warrantless wiretaps on everyone's phone, and then years later, nobody got up in arms at finding out that all of your calls are being listened to at willy-nilly whenever anyone chooses to. Nobody said that, hey, you were only supposed to do that when you were connecting terror suspects. Why are you listening to everyone in the United States phone call? Because the United States had no pushback for that when they said that they were going to start doing these wireless taps on warrantless wireless taps on phone because of fear. So let's continue.
September 11th attacks, the United States government began expanding surveillance both at home.
Oh shit, I didn't even know he was going to talk about that. I forgot. It's been so long since I saw this. I swear to you.
home and abroad. This was, of course, a boon for the defense industry at large. Simultaneously, the Silicon Valley tech industry was growing fast and making people in a once obscure industry very, very rich, very, very quickly. Like the founders and executives at PayPal, known as the PayPal Mafia. Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn guy, and Peter Thiel. When PayPal was sold, Thiel had millions of dollars burning a hole in his pocket and an idea. PayPal had developed systems for detecting fraud and crimes on the platform. What if they could use similar thinking to analyze the world at large? So Thiel pulled from his network to build out a new company. One of the first hires was Thiel's Stanford Law School roommate, Alex Karp, who'd gone on after Stanford to get a PhD in not business or computer science or engineering, but neoclassical social theory. They named the company Palantir, after the Palantiri from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings.
In Lord of the Rings, the Palantir Stone is a magical object that allows its users to predict the future or to see what's going on in a remote location.
It was originally created by the elves. It was meant to be used for good purposes. It is potentially a very dangerous technology. It's very powerful.
Long have you hunted me?
So that's Middle Earth, but what does Palantir do in a regular Earth?
And what we do is we use what legal scholars call predicate-based research. So we would look at you, and then we would go out and say, oh, there's lots of different things in your life that may be indicative of someone involved in bad behavior.
Put simpler, they make software that makes it easier for their customers to collect and analyze data, and then act on that analysis, with and without AI. By 2013, 10 years after their founding, Palantir's client list included the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Marines, the Air Force, Special Operations Command, and more.
Did your company help to track and kill Osama bin Laden?
You know, we can never. I'll tell you, the closest thing to an answer is when you look at when you open the paper and look in the news about these kind of things, there's a 2/3 chance, depending on the country involved, that somehow my company was involved.
Fundamentally, the mission that is pushed to employees is that we're solving the world's hardest problems and supporting Western institutions. That is the main driver of sort of this militaristic culture that is developed inside of Palantir.
If you do not feel comfortable supporting the legitimate efforts of America and its allies in the context of war, don't join Palantir.
This entire message of like, we are the most lethal, we are the most able to surveil and process large amounts of data.
You have created the system which you call kill chain.
Privately. Publicly, the lawyers have some innocuous
So
something like tech for the amelioration of unwanted blah blah blah. Some term we're supposed to use.
Okay, let's.
For me, it's the kill chain.
Kill chain sounds good.
Kill chain isn't an original term created by Palantir. It's the more general military verbiage for the series of decisions leading from identifying a target to taking their life. Palantir's contract added their software and artificial intelligence to the kill chain.
It's quicker and better and safer and more violent.
It's tech that Juan helped market.
It reduces the distance you have to the problem. But when you're able to take a step back and really see all the narratives and how they were shaped and the actual application of these technologies, your whole world starts falling apart, which is something that, definitely happened to me.
Juan didn't leave Palantir entirely for ethical reasons. He just got another job. But the reason he eventually started speaking out against Palantir came after watching the Israeli invasion of Gaza following the October 7th attacks. Palantir has contracts with the Israeli Defense Forces. The exact nature of the contracts is opaque, intentionally, but there is evidence to suggest that Palantir's artificial intelligence tech was used for selecting targets in Gaza. Karp doesn't mind the controversy. In fact, it's part of the marketing.
Palantir will even pick up the projects that other companies rejected for political reasons.
We are very comfortable being unpopular.
Karp doesn't think controversy will lose Palantir customers.
Whatever is pissing them off, they're still buying the product.
Wendy's hired Palantir to help with their supply chain. Palantir works with health insurance companies to build AI for denials management to protect revenue.
Do you want Palantir's AI making decisions about what care is covered for you and your loved ones?
They also do business with for-profit hospitals, major investment banks, and even other defense contractors. In 2024, Palantir brought in nearly $2.9 billion in revenue, 55% of which came from government sources, with the vast majority being American. So let's look at their pitch to the American government. Last year, Palantir CTO Sham Sankar put out a presentation and white paper called The Defense Reformation. He cites The Last Supper, which was a secretive 1993 meeting between defense industry executives and the Deputy Secretary of Defense. Over a dozen companies walked in, and only a few walked out. That dinner is often cited as the origin of our consolidated military-industrial complex.
And to me, I think this was the definitive moment that kicked off the financialization
of defense. From that point forward, it became all about buybacks and dividends and leverage ratios.
Criticizing the financialization of the defense industry, calling out stock buybacks, that doesn't sound like a defense executive. That sounds more like the exact argument about the defense industry that we have made before.
I think what's interesting to me about Palantir is how they co-opt the language of revolution.
But Sankar's argument did work on somebody, Uncle Sam. The Defense Innovation Board, an advisory group within the Department of Defense, cited Sankar's presentation multiple times in their 2024 report on why the DoD needs to divert more of their budget to emerging technology. That's giving money to Palantir. There's a reason Palantir just replaced Ford Motors in the S&P 100 in the months after Trump was elected. The Trump administration is an ideal customer for what Palantir is selling. First, there are many former Palantir employees sprinkled across the Trump administration, from inside Doge to foreign policy advisors to high-level technology appointees. And Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel, heavily invested in the company, is also heavily invested in President Trump and Vice President Vance. He was a major campaign donor to both. Then the stated goal of Doge is to streamline and combine government data, which is exactly what Palantir does.
But the ways that the government is defrauded is that the computer systems don't talk to each other.
And obviously, Karp is loving it.
Disruption at the end of the day exposes things that aren't working. There'll be ups and downs. There's a revolution. Some people can get their heads cut off. Like, it's like we're expecting to see really unexpected things, and
Who do you think is going to get their heads cut off? Do you think that anybody that these people deem as viable people are going to keep their heads? Who do you think these people are going to cut heads off of? See, it's not like this is happenstance. I try to put it together in a way that it goes step by step by step. You don't have to take my word for it. I am letting you hear it out of their own mouths. That's all I'm trying. If you learn something new here today, you can hit I think
win.
And what is winning, according to Palantir?
We continue to advance our mission of becoming the U.S. government's central operating system as we extend our footprint across defense, healthcare, and civilian agencies.
The government's operating system. They want everything to funnel through Palantir. Palantir already has contracts with the IRS, going through taxpayer data to save auditors time by finding the easiest audits to pursue. Now, Wired reports, Doge will likely hire Palantir to create unified software for the entire IRS, a mega API that would allow anyone with access to view and possibly alter all IRS data in one place. That's all of your financial information. And they have multiple contracts with the Department of Health and Human Services, including nearly $100 million to support HHS's core administrative data and applications, to manage, ingest, and access data securely across business domains. HHS's core responsibility is Medicare and Medicaid. That's control over millions of Americans' health records and their access to healthcare. So what does it mean for one contractor to have all that power, data, and taxpayer money as profit, especially as AI gets involved?
As we kind of increasingly live in a simulated world, we lose touch with reality and the human decisions that matter, and we move closer towards governance by algorithm. Not only made by decisions of automated artificial intelligence systems, which is a problem, but more importantly, subject to decisions made by the people who are influencing these AI systems and creating them in order to fulfill an agenda for whatever their profit-seeking or control-seeking objectives are. And when I see Doge kind of going into every agency and addressing the IT department first, I see it as an opportunity to try to change reality itself.
But so what? Why am I telling you all of this? Palantir has no problem being seen as big brother, as all-powerful, as lethal even.
We're at the brink of using these technologies potentially to run our government, to run our battlefields, and our personal lives. Using artificial intelligence as a sort of panacea solution across our federal departments, and especially when they're, again, wielded by people with a very distinct agenda, puts everyone at risk.
It almost feels like that's been the plan all along. Here's co-founder Peter Thiel in 2010 at Libertopia, a libertarian conference, speaking about tech companies and government.
The basic idea was that we could never win an election on getting certain things because we were in such a small minority. But maybe you could actually unilaterally change the world without having to constantly convince people and beg people and plead with people who are never going to agree with you through technological means. And this is where I think technology is this incredible alternative to politics.
And here's Alex CARP in 2009 on civil liberties with regards to Palantir's work.
The central question, in my view, of civil liberties is how, it's not if the government has data, because let's assume the government has as much data as a health insurance company. It's how is that data being used? Is it being used in a way that's lawful? Meaning, do they have the right to use it? And is it being migrated into places it's not allowed to be used? We allow the enforcement of rules that the government ought to enforce. And by the way, my experience is they want to enforce, or at very least know they need to enforce. And if it's framed in that way, then you can have what is the ultimate Silicon Valley solution.
One co-founder openly wants to use the power of the tech industry to affect politics. The other wants his company to have oversight over how the government data they're paid to handle is used.
And the founders of Palantir will retain control in the company no matter what, through an obscure ownership structure. Their Class F shares grant them 49.99% of voting power, even if they collectively own as little as 6% of the company.
At the start of this journey, I was extremely afraid for the repercussions of this writing, of speaking out, but now I'm like, even more convinced that this is absolutely necessary.
We can't replace our current broken system with an even more broken one. And we can't let the worst people in Silicon Valley become our government.
It's not about whether you're actually at risk for speaking out or not.
Okay, this link is in my description box. I need to show you one more piece, short piece about Peter Thiel. Why is a man unsure about humanity? Now, what man is unsure if humanity should go on? None other than Peter Thiel.
I would
this is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation. You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would
this is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in this.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah,
He cannot answer the question if he would like the human race to endure. So if that doesn't say enough. Now, you heard the guy in the video before this saying that they will control movement of the people via an algorithm. Let me share this with you. If you don't know what social credit your social credit score is, they kind of touched on it in those clips. Let's get into it. They have a new app out that will show your social credit scores are here. It's made for humans. It's like the Yelp for humans. It will give information about all of your employment history. It's all contained on this app that they want you to believe that is something good for you. Your social employment score can be affected by how many times you show up late. If somebody have a complaint about, say, your customer service, your attitude at the job, this is already here. Let me share this with you right quick.
Your boss, your coworkers, and your entire ability to ever get hired again to be based on an app score? No? Too bad, it's already in beta. Welcome to Gauge.
Which is why I built Gauge, the first transferable employment record for the shift and hourly workforce.
The app that wants to own your work ethic and
only for people who work shift work and hourly work. This is available to who? The non-rich. This is available to the. Do you think that it's going to be incorporated into people? Every person who works shift work and hourly work. I think it will be. Why isn't it engaging the work that these multi-millionaires and billionaires do to get all these government contracts and because they're not doing the work.
rate you on it, like Yelp or an employee's social credit score. But the pitch is hourly workers have no recognition.
So the issue is clear. These employees simply don't care. And who can blame them? Everybody gets recognized except for them.
So imagine this, you're 27, you're working at a gas station trying to afford egg. You show up, you stock the drinks, you mop the floor, and you keep a polite smile on standby. You're not looking for recognition, you're looking for rent money to pay your bills. Now imagine a tech startup shows up and says, you know what this minimum wage job needs? An algorithmic reputation system that rates your vibes. That's the world that Gage wants to build. And the problem he sees with everything? Gig workers have Uber scores, college grads have diplomas, but hourly workers, they have nothing.
Even gig workers and contractors have ratings and reviews to be celebrated, platforms that celebrate them. But for 80 million Americans that clock in and clock out.
So he's bringing it to you as Uber drivers and delivery people have ratings to be celebrated. But what if these ratings are bogged down in bullshit and are not celebrated? How many times have information come out about a company and people go to their Yelp pages and leave low ratings and complaints? And will the employee be able to turn off their rating system? No, it's not in the employer's control.
There's absolutely nothing.
Nothing, sir. They have no benefits. No job security, no savings, no health care, and no time to listen to this nonsense. So basically all this app does is score you for being obedient. A Yelp for humans. A school report card, but the teachers are your managers.
Gage is a dynamic team management system that drives accountability, communication, and performance with valuable tools like messaging, employment verification, and evaluations. Gage is proven to increase both performance and retention.
Your engagement, aka your fake enthusiasm score. It also rates you on peer shoutouts. So if your colleagues like you, if your coworkers like you and shout you out, your score goes up. Your score is also based on your manager evaluations. And we all know that managers and employees always see eye to eye. There's never any disagreements in personality or people using power games over other people. So that's totally going to be an accurate score all the time.
So the system where you are looking for a job and you put a job reference down where you had a bitch of a motherfucking manager and she is not allowed to go into a whole lot of bullshit about you. She can only confirm that you work there and that you work there, what did your job entail, and what were the dates of your employment there, and if you would hire them again. So now we got anybody who can go in and do reviews and all of this type of stuff on you in this app. Who is this benefiting? Who is this benefiting? Is this benefiting the hourly worker or the worker who works on the time clock? No, it's not.
Time.
And to the employee, we are a vibrant social media inspired platform with high fives, shout outs, peer endorsements, peer connections, getting them engaged within the workspace like never before. And unlike those HR systems, with Gage, the employee gets to own their data and it transfers with them from job to job. This allows them for the first time.
How am I owning my data when you are collecting my data as a company and selling your product to my employer? And do you think that I believe I own my data? If I own my data, I can change my data. I can give myself a stunning reviews if I own my data.
To be able to build a lifelong record of career achievements. And for the first time, they get to own their work. It replaces their resume.
So all of that comes out to what's called the Gage score. And this score becomes your permanent transferable app-based reputation because apparently getting fired wasn't demoralizing enough until it came with a rating system.
And with the data we collect, we're able to provide powerful personalized metrics like the Gage score. This adds credentials to the otherwise non-credentialed, which leads to better job opportunities and higher.
Wait a minute. The Gage score will give me credentials and working at a gas station. Viv, you can have a Gage score. It would give me credentials. I didn't even know I needed credentials to work low paying jobs, hourly jobs. I did not know I need credentials for that. So now, if it gives me credentials that I've never need, are you telling me to get certain jobs, we're gonna have to be signed on to this because all of a sudden because the employer is using your system, it's going to require some credentials that only you can give a job that does not even need or have credentials prior to signing up with you? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? People will not be able to get jobs unless they sign up with Gauge. So this is a social credit score. Let's get in. This link is in my description box. Let's get deeper into social credit scores. I'm giving you. I can't help but laugh. I worked at Aubrey's for $1.90 an hour, and I was in high school in the 70s. Hey, viewers of you. I saw this coming. Okay. I talked about social credit scores. They are doing it in China. You heard the guy who worked at Palantir said that they want to control people by an algorithm. Let's check this one out real quick. I just want to inform you.
Credit system doesn't exist. Well, I'm here to tell you it does, but it's not how you think. Those that have low social Some claim the Chinese Communist Party's social credit system doesn't exist. Well, I'm here to tell you it does, but it's not how you think. Those that have low social credit scores are publicly shamed. But that's not all. It's only part of the comprehensive policing and surveillance apparatus, which also includes police drones, Skynet tracking to locate someone who made online comments about the government, and applications to geolocate those around you, as well as facial scans and real ID verifications everywhere you go. These all feed back into the social credit system where you are barred from loans, taking transportation, or owning a business. All of these are made to ensure that people do not speak, do, or to think to challenge the government, because the social restrictions are heavy burdens to bear. The CCP knows where everyone is at all times and what they're doing at all times. This is why they're lying to you to suggest they cannot track down a fentanyl network going out of China. It's simply they're unwilling to look. The goal is to police innocent people in China, not to crack down on mass criminal efforts. Share this video so more can be aware. Some claim the Chinese
Okay, I wanted to share that with you. Does that sound like what Palantir was talking about? It sure sounds like that is what they're talking about to me. Excuse me. This is one more. You can find extensive videos on this. I just try to get little shorts that compress all the information. So let's check this one out.
In China, there are some 600 million surveillance. Today in China, there are some 600 million surveillance cameras, one for every 2 citizens, able to track people's movements down to the minute.
Every street corner, there's facial recognition, there's digital recognition, there's the social credit system. The social credit system is the sort of highest aspiration of the Chinese Communist Party, to have everything every human being does go into a computer system. And with AI and all sorts of other sophisticated programming, you can know exactly where a person is because he'll have bought something with a credit card or a digital payment system. His car will have gone down a highway. Every kilometer, there's a camera taking pictures of your license plate. They will know everything about everybody real time. This creates a kind of a techno-autocratic system that's unprecedented and with which we've had no experience.
Okay. I have a couple of more links in the description box. Child, I am just giving you the information. I have tried to connect the dots for you. That's my presentation for today. A lot of things in this government is frightening, and for people dummy around and not try to educate themselves, you know, the most uneducated person is going to make it easy. The more uneducated people that they are, it's going to make it easy for this to succeed. Is this you or viewers of you?
Yeah, it's me.
I had to
Can
make
you
sure.
hear
I
me?
hear you good. I hear you well.
You hear me good? Okay. Hey, girl, how you doing?
What's going on, girl?
Nothing much. I've been in and out, and I love when you break all these facts down and you provide the information, the links in the live, and also in the description box. I greatly appreciate it. Some of these things I didn't catch, like this one that you're talking about now, I did not catch. I did not
You gotta
catch.
catch the last hour of the show because it was like some other things that I was connecting to get. That was the finale of what I was saying that they're doing in the United States that is vastly similar to this. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah, I
trying to
know you
get
always
information.
end on the when you get to the whole ratchet situation. I'm like, oh, let me see if I can slide up on here. And I didn't even ask for the link. See, everybody be calling people pound killers. Miss Ronicue dropped the link very graciously. I didn't ask for it or nothing like that. But Miss Ronicue, yeah, I did when I typed in there, and I was like, a work credit report, like a history of your work. And
No, they trying to do credit scores of your whole life.
oh my God.
It's not, they trying to ease it in there. Like, what sense does it?
Mm.
And he trying to act like it's so good for you. Look what you own your. Get the fuck out of my face with this bullshit.
Rental history, jobs, that's
Banking, everything.
banking.
Social, actual real social history. What type of movies you go to pay for? What type of food you buy? Everything.
Any exercise,
Everything.
any workout, exercise, weight
Everything.
loss, weight loss. Are they
Yes.
gonna do weight loss? Bree, don't come over to this that damn thing.
How
Weight
much
loss,
how much Ozempic are you shooting in your belly? All of that.
dentist appointments. That's what we need to really get reports.
Shit. If they doing dental reports, a whole lot of motherfuckers over here will not be found. There will be
Mental
no dental
medicines,
records.
right?
No.
Was actual diseases, also
Oh
mental.
my god. If
You're gonna do a
they gonna be,
goddamn report it all.
they gonna be reporting. Oh, that bitch got a pussy. Look like the Bible is written in braille on her coochie. She got so many bumps on her coochie. All of
Now
that type of stuff.
somebody got here, Miss Ronica, somebody out here over there spreading the herpes all around, and somebody. Anyway, no, this is a dignified channel, but anyway, I saw that.
Girl.
So, actually, transmittable eases. We need to have that on the report.
Got the whole Old and New Testament written in braille on they snatch. It's just a damn shame.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I had to come up for that. Not Liz say ouch. Look at Miss Liz. Miss Liz, I done pulled you over there like a little mama cat. I done pulled you over. You know how mama cats do that. I'm not a cat person, but I know what they do. They pull the little one. They're like, come on over here, baby. And they grab you by the whole neck. Your scruff. Is it the scruff? Scruff?
Scruff.
Yeah, dogs do that
on
too.
the back of the nose. Now,
Yeah.
Leonard said this is the funky pussy report.
Hey, Leonard. Oh my God. If we're going to tell it all.
Tell it all. It can't spell sweet. Child, and people don't have the common sense that God gave a gnat to not come out here and think that is something you can talk around. Just dumb.
You know, I miss Ronicue. I've heard so many things that you just don't discuss in like within people that you see. There's just certain things you don't discuss in certain circles. But over here on the internet and the social media and the beef sector and all that, they just talk about everything. And I'm like I feel like it's a dream sometimes, but it's not. I know it's reality. But I just nothing shocks me anymore. Like my shock value has gone. Like you could just hit me in the head with a baseball and I would just still be walking straight because nothing shocks me anymore.
My shock value is not gone, but my disgust value is on point. My disgust value is high. That meter it tips off a whole lot.
All over on the other side, dripping on the side, right? And somebody, Liz, talking about something. Ooh, listen here. I have been watching. Okay, well, no. Are we finished with the things that the news?
Yeah, we're done with the news. We're done with the news entirely, girl. It was a session today. Okay.
Yes, it was. You on 3 hours. I came in about every 30 minutes. I kept coming in. Then I read ball, and then I read through the chats, and then I went on and did something else, and I came back around. Yes, Miss Liz. But the stuff that's on the ratchet section of this thing, now we got Nickel and we got Rusty Christie battling back and forth, and both of them calling each other ugly and fat and scammers. Both of them calling.
They are correct. Both of them can be wrecked, but they say
They
two things can be true at the same time.
Right, and then
Equally yoked.
We all know that Krista can't walk. If she walking, she using a damn crutch or what's the thing, the walker or something like that.
A walker.
You could. She can't do no wheelchair up in that little apartment that she's in.
I heard that they had. I've read that they had something about. I don't know where it was. Whether that crippled lady had dentures or she had implants. And then over there where I read a lot, they put up a whole lot of pictures of Ron Isley with them big old horse teeth. And they said that Ron Isley, that she was Ron Isley in her first life. But what I noticed was Ron Isley.
No. That's why I came up on here, because I saw your comment over there and I read over there. You know I go over there to be nosy. I'm saying, look at this Ronnie Q.
I should have.
I should say what you said.
I should have taken a picture. Now, they had real pictures of Ron Isley up there, like 3 or 4. And where's a picture with you with your background? It had a views background. It had a viewers of view background, and I said, what is Ron Isley doing at a viewers of views?
I said, oh my God, because I went over there to be nosy, because now when the shit gets hot, I go over there. I go see what's going on, because I'm like, I'm checking it out. And I saw this thing, and then all of a sudden I saw your post, and I was like, she said, why is Ron Isley at Viewers of View? And I had to read it a couple times. I was like, is Ronnie Q coming for me on the sideways?
No, the background. You know how a Viewers of View has that Chinese folding screen with the paper behind it, the white paper, and he was standing in front of one of those.
Sure, what? I have 5 of those screens, y'all. I painted a couple of them. They're really good because y'all, especially people that don't have a really good background or you don't want people to see what's going on in your background, they're really good. But I saw Ms. Ronnie Q said, what is Ron Isley doing at a Viewers of View spot?
Well, at least I didn't say what is the cripple lady doing at your spot.
Oh, right. It did, right. And I cracked up. I don't comment over there, but I go over there to look. I be nosy and shit. But baby, I saw that. I had to look at it and think. I was like, is Miss Ronnie Q coming for me? But then I realized it was the screen. Oh my God. It was the funniest thing I ever seen, Miss Ronnie Q. So I came over here to really let you know I love your comment over there. Now, I've never done this before. Read over there and came straight where I saw somebody type in there. I ain't gonna do that, but that shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny myself. That's all I could think. I said, I'm a viewer's gonna see this and she gonna think I'm coming for her. I actually thought that. I was like, no, she gonna see that screen. She know I'm bullshitting.
But I can picture myself walking on the other side of the screen talking about some Ron, aka Just Rusty. What the fuck you doing in my goddamn house? Right. That shit was so fucking funny. And it was a nice clean screen. It was a nice clean screen. Notice Notice some of the people that come on here with those screens now, they're all smoke stained and dirty looking and shit and cracked up. But I thought that was so.
The paper is not white anymore. It's all
Yeah.
yellow and brown in the corners, and yeah, I've seen those.
But yeah, she's got false teeth. She's always had them. When she first came on here 10, 15 years ago, there's part of the same teeth. I don't know that she keeps soaking them. She needs to do it. She said somebody that does requesting her to do some advertisement for her teeth or something. Those are false teeth. They've always been false teeth for at least the 10 years that I have seen her fucking hobble leg ass that can't get up and walk. A lot of people say she's a midget. Now I'm gonna tell you what the people over there say that I go over to. Okay, they ain't gonna mind it. I'm saying it because at least we on the live. They say you a midget. You look like a midget. Everybody say that. You got tiny feet. You got a big goddamn fucking teeth pushing. That's why your face is so big, because those teeth are Mr. Ed's teeth. They pushing your jaw and stuff out forward. They bucking them, but they're straight down because you know you are a little midget little thing. But the thing that people need to understand, that you got that issue where your eyeballs are like 2 eyeballs away from each other. And that's a sign of mental illness. I need y'all to know that.
That wide set eyes.
Yeah, it's documented. It's nothing that I made up. She just can't get over it.
You seem like you doing some eugenic shit. Remember they had eugenics, and they way back in the day. Way back in the day, they said that people with certain bone structure would more likely be criminals. That was studied for a practice, not study, a practice for a long time, and they would always people would always have strong African features with the broader nose. The people who irk me. Let me see of a celebrity who is made like this. K. Michelle,
okay, go
but
ahead.
she got her face fixed. The people with the uneven jawline. One jaw is up and the other it looks like it's curving more. Those people with those strange jaws, they kind of do something to me, kind of like the people who can't straighten out their fingers all the way because they have a hitch in the joint of the finger, and it makes me want to stretch out my finger. It makes me want to take them by the chin and just crack their jaw
snap
over
it
to the other side.
You think you can snap it and cure it? Yeah,
and they have a way of talking too. Like their teeth are heavy. You know the type of. I'm not saying that there is no. There's just some people who are. Let me see who's built up like that in the beef sector.
But I know what you're saying. But they have studied this stuff for years. When they see babies coming out the cooch, they see certain characteristics. Because I'm gonna tell you, I think those forceps, when they pull them out, do create some characteristic flaws.
They don't use forceps.
Well, they used to. They used to snatch them out there with them forceps.
And maybe they need to, because no, they don't.
The BRICS ones.
They damaged a lot of kids.
They sure did.
Forceps. Now remember the black lady who was delivering a baby, and they said the baby died, and they wrapped the baby all. You know how they wrap them up tight anyway.
Yeah.
And that lady had pulled that infant's head off during birth, and the lady was supposed to have a cesarean session, but the doctor was like, "Come on, let's just do it this way." And then she wind up having to cut the rest of the baby out the woman's body, and then they put the baby wrapped up and propped the head up there, and they put the baby on the lady's chest and let her visit with her deceased baby. And then they tried to cover it up. They tried to offer her cremation services, and she was like, "No, I don't want my child cremated." And they never said nothing. And it was the mortician, the mortuary, who had to call her and let her know that her child was decapitated in birth.
In the birth, exactly. Yeah, but I think. Right, and then that's when they started doing, because you know what, this is a whole nother thing. cesarean birth, because a lot of times when the infants were having issues and things, and I know this because family members and friends and stuff, where they used to use the forceps, now they don't like it, and I agree with you what they're saying, they don't, and they do cesareans. But years ago, people wanted to have cesarean births because they wanted their poo poo holes staying whole. But then a lot of people didn't want their cesarean because they didn't want their belly all cut up and skin. But now the doctors can make it like you have a cesarean birth, and they can fix it up so that you've got a whole bikini line. That's when they started coming. Yeah,
go ahead.
Bikini cut.
Yeah, but they have to. They still once they cut you in the belly and go through that muscle, if they don't stitch the muscle back, some doctors stitch it back properly, but other doctors don't, and they just stitch the skin up and stuff, and then they wound up having that cesarean belly anyway. It's all about the cutting away of the muscle.
Well, I had a hysterectomy, and that was a one thing, whether you're going to pay for the bikini hysterectomy or just, I don't know, because you can't even tell I had one. And I don't mind saying it.
You had a hysterectomy or his erected in me. What did you have?
I ain't got no his directed indirectly into me.
No. His is erected in me. That's about all you had.
Right.
His is erected in me.
No, I had issues. And I never had a husband, because I would be damned if I want to have some kids without a husband. So, yeah. So, but there was options, because I had issues, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear about that kind of stuff, but there are some times where people do have issues, 16 tumors and all that kind of stuff. And it's nothing to do with anything to be promiscuous or anything like that. Sometimes it just happens. I ain't sad or nothing about it, but yeah. So, but they gave me the option of, and I went to a top of the line doctor, and wherever it is, I ain't gonna say, but so when you look at my skin now, you wouldn't even tell there was a cut, and they called it a bikini cut because they were cutting below that line.
Mm-hmm.
So where you did put some bikini panties on and stuff, you can't even tell. But now people just, they make up pregnancies and stuff. Didn't Brooke have she just ate a good meal and popped her belly out?
Liz Lipos just reminded me that the donkey said that it's pregnant with a mule. The donkey, you didn't know that, girl. The donkey is walking around here saying that she's pregnant.
Oh, well, I never call her the donkey, but I know who y'all talking about. Isn't she pregnant by Simon's? Somebody over in London or somewhere?
She's allegedly she's impregnated by some drugs or something. Is that bitch back on that shit?
Oh, Jesus, Dory, you know what, Dory? Dory,
now
go ahead.
I heard somebody. I want to interrupt you. I forget where I heard this at.
I'm gonna turn my fan off.
Somebody say that Timex is doing a bid in jail. Did you hear that too? Then,
no, I didn't.
Yeah, they said that this is what I can't remember where I heard it at. That Simon is, not Simon. Timex is doing a bid in jail, and that's why she has gone on with this storyline with Simon. Go ahead.
Well, I feel, and I even called, I did a little video, because I don't really be asking people to come over, and I did a little video like when she came back and stuff like that. Like, I know, people didn't drag her about, giving all her money away, and then they say she got donkey teeth and all that. But I used to listen to her with Miss Mona. I sure did. I found it entertaining. A lot of people didn't. I know Miss Montague, but I would be fine with it. And so I even did a video. I said, Dory, can you come over here? Because I see everybody's talking about you, but she never came. So I don't even know why, Miss Dory. I would have been very fair. But anyway, so now she coming out with all this shit. And what's she supposed to be married to? What's the person? Somebody, a famous rapper
Simon.
or something?
Oh, Teddy Riley.
Yeah, and it's just a whole lot. So Miss Dory, I ain't mad at you or nothing, but I can't. Your shit is fuzz.
I just can't deal with. I just can't. Did you see the
It's too much.
Did you see the Sour Patch Kids over there?
Oh yeah,
The sour.
and
Is it
somebody
Sour Pale?
do one of me. Somebody, please, whoever's doing that, please be gracious. Please speak.
The Sour Pale Kids. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
can y'all tell Ronnie Q, you over there? Can you ask the person that does one of me? Can they make it more towards my coloring or my
No, it's
old
not the
age?
Sour Pale. It's the Garbage Pail Kids, I think.
Oh, somebody asked, and they added my name to the list. They put a list about 9 people, and I saw all those things. I think it's over on Something Sweet. Hey, Something Sweet, how
Yeah.
you doing?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can find. If you guys want to see the
Oh
Garbage Pail
Lord, jeez. Yeah,
Kids, let
put that
me
out there.
see if I can find her
Yeah,
page.
they're so cute, but I feel like I don't know if that person likes me or not because my storyline has changed, y'all. I hope y'all know mine has changed. I am do edibles. I do get fucked up on the edibles, and I color. I still cuss people out, but I ain't trying to do all that kind of stuff. So whoever does me, can you please be gracious? I beg of thee.
I beg of thee. Let me see if I.
At least put me in a bikini. Put me in a bikini coloring, please. I'm just asking. I'll cash up $10. I'm just Lord, I
Let me
can't wait.
see.
They put
I
a
can't
whole
find
goddamn
her.
list. Yeah, I don't do Sour Patch. Sour Patch, you know what Sour Patch? You slipped in like a sweet and low, and your motherfucking ass turned sour. How the fuck you over here sitting your pussy wishing pictures and all this kind of stuff, and to lemon and to big man? Like one gives you money, one you got to give money to, girl. And I think you on the spectrum. You really are. And then, girl, you better stop backpedal pussy pop. Don't get on anybody's goddamn panel. Don't try to explain nothing. You just shut your fucking ass up. Get on and make their new channel. Don't say nothing in the channel. Just get off of. Just sit down for I'm gonna say about 6 months. Okay, don't say shit because your fucking ass is fucking trash right about now. There's nothing you can say. And do not turn your camera on. Your fucking makeup is fucked up. Your eyelashes is fucked up. Your fucking face is fucked up. Your body is fucked up. Your goddamn dialect is fucked up. Because how long you been in goddamn America? I love me some Latin lovers and child. I'm an advocate for everybody that's coming from any place else. But bitch, you've been here long enough. Right here she go. Here, look at Lee. Look,
Who is that?
with the money in there. Oh, money grabbing. No, but that's her. That's the old Nika. The person needs to do a new Nika with the bigger teeth. But at least Nika say she got false teeth. See, that's the part I do like about her. She do keep it a little bit real, but that's
It's the Garbage Pail. It's the Garbage Pail
yeah.
Kids.
That's Kimmy.
Who is that? That's
Kimmy.
not Kimmy. That's not Kimmy.
Oh wait.
That
That's
was Kimmy at first
Krista.
as well.
See, that one.
And somebody said, you got to do better. You got to put her in a wheelchair or something. I thought that was Kimmy at first too. Now who is that?
ODS.
Of course.
Only because of the bonnet. ODS don't come from me. On Brian.
Crying Brian.
Right.
Okay.
Whoever has this, we already know who that is. Craig. That's Craig.
Now who is that?
Kimmy.
Uh-huh.
Because of the neck and the hairline in the back. Don't y'all come from me. I'm just saying.
Now who is this with all these children?
Burger.
It's not enough. It's not enough children. I don't even eat burgers. Who is that?
I ain't gonna say her name because you say some people's name 3 times. They appear
show
in your
up like
face.
right,
Right.
like Beetlejuice. Now it
Well,
looks
those
like she's
teeth are
wearing
big. Is that
it looks like
after
she's
this?
wearing Nika's teeth on
But
here.
yeah, oh Lord Jesus.
Let me see. Who is that?
Minari,
Now see the mom to be. The mom to be.
This is ratchet.
They put the baby in and everything. Now
This is ratchet.
Oh, we saw that also. Okay, so that's all I got.
There's some more. No, I was over there. There's some more. There's a whole. That's fine. That's enough. That's a teaser. Oh my God, I'm not going over there anymore because somebody requested the lady to do one of me, lady or man. I don't know who it is. I ain't going over there no more.
I tried to tell her.
Well, can I at least be cute looking with a bikini?
Go ahead.
Can I at least be cute with a bikini and an art brush and some crayons? Please Please don't do the old viewers of view. Let me have me. My wigs are not plastic anymore. Okay, please, everybody.
Anymore.
No, I never really had them plastic. I'm just trying to be, in case people be doing
Just
shit
trying to fit in.
here.
Just trying to fit in.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Please, I beg of thee.
I beg of thee. Now,
you gonna do you? Your name won't on the list. Why your fucking name won't on the damn list? They need to do one of you too.
How dare you?
Go ahead.
That's all I got today, View. I'm gonna share a link with everybody, and maybe you guys can meet me over. Stomp Down is live. I have shit else to talk about. The link is in the chat if you want to go over there and he is already in full. He is in.
Okay, I'll see y'all later. Thank you for letting me come up. All right, bye.
All right, bye bye.
Already. Okay. Bye, boo. All right.
One of the people in Lipstick Alley did that, Liz. I'll boot you. I think I'm.
Yeah, boot me because I can't figure out how to do it. Thank you. Yeah, you ain't booting me. I'm still here. Look, she done kept me up in here and then booted herself. Ain't that some fuck shit? So now if I boot myself, then both of us will be booted. Ain't that some shit? Ronnie Q, bring your ass back up on here. I'm trying to get out. I see how to get out right now. But if I leave, it's time for Ronnie Q. She done booted herself out. Does she know she booted herself out? Because I know if I leave, she'll still be live.
Back. I'm back. I forgot to add myself to the screen. I took you down. Let me see if I can boot her. I took her down. It says leave studio. Are you sure you want to leave studio? No, I don't want to leave the studio. I was trying to boot a view as a view. See you again too. I hope you guys, I appreciate you guys and your support, and I hope you guys have a wonderful remainder of your day. And I put the link in, and I'm gonna go over there and check out Stump Down as I walk the doggies. All right, thank you for your support as always. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.